Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Police do really care. Yes, they do. I get irritated when people come down on police officers saying that they don't care. Well, I have a story for you this morning that shows not all police are in that category. The Joplin, Missouri Police Department reported finding a man's body last Saturday in the Spring River near the Empire Electric Plant. The police would not release the dead man's name until his family had been notified. The victim apparently drowned due to excessive beer consumption while visiting someone in Riverton, Kansas. He was wearing black fishnet stockings, a red garter belt, a pink G-string, purple lipstick, and an Obama T-shirt. Yes, an Obama T-shirt. The police removed the Obama T-shirt to spare the man's family any unnecessary embarrassment. Yes, police do care. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Kate Smith, and God bless America. I got to wake up this morning. Long night at the OK Corral. Kate Smith, and then a Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much, Kate Smith, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 great locations serving you, and service is the key word. Along with some of our great advertisers on the program, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today, 734-6969. Both of us, I know, are really tired. Gina's put a lot of time and effort into the fair so far, and I've been gone, and tonight we start with the rodeo. Good morning, Gina.
I'm going to see you at the fair tonight.
Well, I'll look forward to that.
Well, you better, mister.
How are we coming through this morning?
Perfect.
Oh, my goodness, great. Hey, listen, do we have a pledger?
We have a brand new pledger on by the name of Chris, and then, of course, we have Michael Rogers on for the West.
Very good. Good morning, Chris, and do the pledge, please.
Thank you, Zeb. And I don't know how tired Gina is. I got a vibrant good morning sunshine when she answered the phone, so she sounded like she was wide awake and ready to start the day.
All right, sir. Go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done, and please do not make yourself a stranger. Come back more often and do the pledge. You did a great job.
Thanks, Seb. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for the world's greatest weatherman, and we're very proud to have him on our program, brought to you by Rock Creek Growers on the corner of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets in Kimberly. They've got everything over there for you, all the trees, all the bushes, everything you need to clean up, spruce up, and beautify your home. And don't forget, too, they've got all the ceramic pots in various colors, sizes, shapes, and textures, and they're 50% off till the end of this month of August at Rock Creek Growers, corner of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets in Kimberly. Here now, the greatest weatherman, MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Good morning, everybody. If you're keeping score at home, there are a total of 9 active wildfires going on in the state of Idaho. The closest one to us is the Elk Fire, and you'll see the smoke, although you see more of it as you get toward Bliss and Hagerman. But if you head up north, you're going to run into it. Be careful today. Sunny and hot, and you can kick in that smoke, too. I'm looking for triple digits, but I would not be surprised if you hit 98 or 99 today. It's going to be hot tomorrow. I'm going to be hot the day after tomorrow, and the smoke is going to be with us still. through the weekend, there's no active storms coming our way. So enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There you go, MichaelRogersWeather.com, brought to you by the nicest people in the world at Rock Creek Growers on the corner of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets in Kimberly. And, of course, the number 423-6800. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence. Stay on the line. Do not go away. I've got to quickly listen to the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, with the Burley Livestock Sale Yard.
Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
That is Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, along with Lance Udy, Merv May, and the rest of the crew serving you, 678-9411. Let's take a look and see what we got for some special cattle coming in addition to the regular run. The BYU Ranch out at Malda is going to be bringing in a semi-load of butcher cows. Thank you very much. Udy Ranch is up at Rockland bringing in a semi-load of butcher cows, and TLK Dairy out of Mountain Home, 23 head of butcher cows. Sale time is 10:30 this morning. That, of course, in addition to the regular run. For more information, give them a call at 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Mel, get the bottom again.
Amen. Hey, real quick, caller, before I get to you, I want to remind everybody the 3rd Annual Idaho Liberty Summit is going to be this weekend, Friday and Saturday at the Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center. Don't forget to call Moon and Associates in Rupert at 436-3714 and get registered for this big event, or call Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley and get there early. Take pride in what America was and can be again. Be sure to attend the Idaho Liberty Summit this weekend. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Got a big question.
Uh-oh.
You know how to kill a liberal?
I don't know if I want to touch this one on the air because I'm in enough trouble already. Go ahead.
Hide his food stamps under his work bed.
Dal, you and your wife, you got to be reckoned with. Look out. Have a good day, my friend. God bless you. All right, thank you much. Excuse me for choking on the air, but we've got a lot of things to cover this morning. One of the things I want to mention this morning is we are trying to get a hold of Randy Munns, rodeo clown for the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted to talk to Randy about the rodeo, and number two, I wanted to ask also, very importantly, about this great big, now the liberals are calling it a national tragedy. I'm not making this up. The liberals are calling that rodeo clown incident back in Missouri a national tragedy, and it's absolutely off the rails. This is the dumbest, most perpetrated farce that I've ever heard in my life by the Democrats and the liberals. The White House spokesman slammed a Missouri State Fair and Texas congressman, accused liberals of trying to crush dissent Wednesday. I mean, this thing is just going on and on and on, and they are calling it now, on behalf of the liberals and the left, a national tragedy. How absolutely insane is this? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeb. Could I take a second and send our condolences to the Ernie Wills family? I strapped that man into aircraft down at Brown Air Force Base in the 1950s.
I've known the Wills family for a long, long time, and I've known Ernie for a long, long time, and he battled for 3 years, I believe it was, cancer, and finally succumbed to the effects of the cancer. Made quite a name for himself, had a great business along with the rest of the family, and I agree with you. Thanks, Al. I do thank you for that.
He always had a smile. He was always, he's one lieutenant, him and Lou Bruger, that I could take and kid with like we always do, and he is one great guy. I wish him all the best to the whole family.
All right. Well, listen, Al, that comes from the heart, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your call. Okay. God bless you. Thank you. Yes, a gentleman passed away, Ernie Wills, in Twin Falls, and on behalf of our program, to them, the Wills family, our condolences. Very, very nice man. Valley White Home and Ranch, they've got all your steer feed. I'm telling you, they got all the feed for all your livestock. And if you're at the fair and all of a sudden you found out, didn't you bring the brushes? No. Did you bring the combs? Did you do this? Did you bring that? No. Well, I left it at home at the ranch. Well, then you better get over to Valley White right now, because they've got everything you need for all your show supplies. Like I said, they've even got all the shavings for your pins. They've got everything at Valley White Home and Ranch, including all the clothing for you. And they got a special deal going on right now. Buy one pair of ladies' or children's boots, get another pair half off. You can't beat a deal like that. You better stop over today to Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Really nice people. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. National tragedy because there are no words to describe Benghazi.
There are no words to describe Benghazi. That's very well said. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I guess they have to put it in perspective.
Let me ask you a question. You're always a very interesting caller when you call in. What is the difference? No, really, what is the difference? Let me ask you this. What would be the difference in your mind as far as the perpetration of humor or a routine of humor, etc., at a rodeo grounds or on a late-night television show, or even during prime time, which has happened many, many times, to have a joke or some kind of a skit about the president and wear a mask? Now, I've seen masks worn on Saturday Night Live regarding George W. Bush. I've seen masks worn about Bill Clinton. I've seen masks worn many, many times on television about Ronald Reagan. Why, all of a sudden, is this the sacred cow, the mask of Barack Obama, in a comedy routine? Go ahead.
Well, it's just ridiculous. And there have been other masks. Somebody just got their tail in a twist and decided to jump on the bandwagon with this one. This is not the first mask of Obama, or the first mask of Hillary Clinton, or the first mask of whoever is in office. And there are roasts. There are everybody for or against has a joke and some kind of a humorous, oh, I'm funny little anecdote. So somebody just decided to blow this one out of proportion, and there you have it.
Let me tell you something that I learned over the last 24 hours, and you're not going to believe this, caller, that the clowns that belong to, supposedly, and I'm taking this off of the Daily Caller from Washington, D.C., the clowns that belong to the Missouri Rodeo Clown Association have been sentenced to sensitivity training. That's according to the Washington Times report, that they have to go down to a special meeting and attend sensitivity training. This is absolutely insane.
Well, I would assume that since they're not Islamic and they're not this, that, and the other, they need to be careful, Deb, so they don't hurt people's feelings.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter if it's a conservative or whatever's feelings, but boy, you can't step now on the sacred cow toes of Barack Hussein Obama.
No. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice lady right there. No, I'm serious about this. I will not back up, and I certainly will not apologize for past remarks. Caller, stay with us, please. I'll be right with you. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They're open at 7:30 in the morning. Gather outside the front door with a group hug. Sing one verse of Kumbaya, led by Keith, and then everybody gets to work at Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide fluorescent and HID lighting, all your lamps and electrical ballast cords, everything at Ramsey Heating and Electric. All your electrical needs over 57 years, and that's where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes.
It's not insane if you take one thing into account.
What's that?
The liberals are a national tragedy.
You know, I agree with you that liberals and liberal thought is a national tragedy because it's gone against the moral value of our country. It's gone against the constitutional value of our country. It's gone against the fabric of everything this country stands for. And a story like this, Linda, let me just ask you this. When you hear a story like this where the NAACP is demanding that the Department of Justice and the Secret Service investigate this performance, and they call it a national tragedy. Linda, please, what are your thoughts?
It's just disgusting.
I think that sums it up.
It's childish. It's just gone totally, like you say, out of proportion. Is this typical reaction from the NAACP? Do they do things like this? It seems like.
Well, let me just throw this at you. Have you and do you know who Ed Schultz is on MSNBC?
No, I don't.
He's a very rotund, kind of a beer-guzzling, loudmouth liberal that has come out on the air and just absolutely talked about hell and damnation and death to anybody that's conservative. I mean, I'm summing up and making a paraphrase, but he hates anybody that's conservative, and he gets away with this stuff, as does Bill Maher on HBO and many, many others on the air. Now, it's okay for them to make snide and very caustic remarks about our past President George Bush. It's okay for them to come out and really denigrate conservatives, but now a rodeo clown, Tuffy Gesling, back in Missouri, puts on an Obama mask in the arena as nothing more than humor for a certain segment of the rodeo, and he is being called a national tragedy. This is absolutely pathetic.
Oh, it's just disgusting. Like I say, it's childish. Poor children. That isn't nice to denigrate them to this level.
No, I'm telling you, I just am going to stay on top of this. But to think that the NAACP is going to demand, and you know they're going to get their way, demand the Department of Justice and the Secret Service investigate this. I mean, they are absolutely insane for what they're trying to do here.
They are. It's just ridiculous.
All right, Linda. God bless you and have a good day.
Where people that got caught in it.
Yeah, I do have a lot of empathy and sympathy for him, and I'm going to try to get Tuffy Gesling on the phone here this next week. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is absolutely beyond the pale. That it's being called by the liberals a national tragedy. It's being forced down the throat now that all, and I'm reading this right from this report from the Washington Times, all other clowns in the Missouri Rodeo Clown Association have been sentenced to sensitivity training. You know, this just reeks. This just absolutely has the smell of barnyard fecal material. This is absolutely ridiculous. And what about Halloween? What about Halloween? Think about this. Are children or adults, if they go to a party, an office party, if they go to a Halloween party, if kids dress up on Halloween as Barack Hussein Obama, are they also, because of the vein of humor, are they going to be called a national tragedy? Caller, I'm going to ask you to stay on the line just for a second. I've got a quick spot, and I want to remind everybody about JB's, 136 East 5th North in Burley. Don't forget, that is the home of my lunch bunch, Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and we're going to have our next lunch bunch on the 29th. Do not miss it. It's going to be fun. Great eating. Oh, what wonderful people. Breakfast buffets, breakfast specials, luncheon specials, steaks. Oh, my goodness, it's all there. Daniel and the rest of the crew serving you with the best of food and service at JB's, 136 East 5th North in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, my first question would be, if they've been sent to sensitivity training, what in the world have they been charged with, and what police officer arrested them and charged them with something that they would be required to go and service them in sensitivity training? And I pray to God that not one of those clowns shows up and says, you know what, land of the free, home of the brave. I'm not going to do that. and you can just do whatever.
Well, I have used a phrase. I want to run this by you. I have used a phrase on this program in regards to politicians that I have not much respect for because of their lack of ability, and I have called them clowns looking for a circus.
Hello? Okay.
Now, are we back on the air?
Yes, we are.
You know, the Obama administration must really dislike me to have the phone line disrupted.
Well, okay, so that's number one for today.
Yeah.
I know the topic, and so we're just going to kind of keep track of this. And I know that my brother is actually at home keeping track, and so he notices that every time we start talking about national issues that have to do with maybe Benghazi or like Obama, we have phone problems. Why is that?
I don't know, but I can tell you this. I've followed it myself. I've got a little chart here. And last week, we went off the air 3 times.
Yes, we did.
When we were discussing some very serious events regarding Benghazi and the cover-up.
Yep.
And your brother is spot on. And I, for one, have had enough. I'm going to take this to the hierarchy. Is that lady still on the phone?
No, she hung up.
I feel very bad because she was making some excellent points. And, ma'am, I want you to know that we did not hang up on you. Our phone lines all of a sudden have, they've had problems.
Well, and what I found, what is funny, because, remember, but was it earlier this week when we were talking about some of the Burley City issues, and then we moved on to, national issues?
Yeah.
I found it odd because I see the caller IDs when they call in, and there was a couple that were actually calling in from governmental offices.
Mm-hmm.
Those particular phone calls that were calling in from governmental offices were the ones that dropped.
Well, let me tell you, you know Seton Motley. He's been on my program, and he's back in Washington, D.C., and the government, the Obama administration, does not like Seton Motley. He has been on every one of the talk shows. He's been on Hannity. He's been on O'Reilly. He's been on all of them. And he's been here as a friend of mine many, many times on this program. Mm-hmm. One day I called him, and this goes right in accordance with what you're talking about and bringing up. This has been about 2 months ago, and I called Seton up, and I says, hey, I said, I'd like to have you on the program. And I said, appreciate all your time you spend getting ready to come on the show. And he said, Zeb, you have no idea how hated you are by the liberals back in Washington. They hate you.
Well, you know what? They can hate all they want to. We have the freedom of the press. We have the freedom of speech. So they can continue to drop the lines, but we're not going anywhere.
No,
we'll just speak louder.
I will ask you the same question I was asking that lady a moment ago, and give me a short answer because I've got a hard break here.
Yes, you do.
But what about Halloween? What about wearing an Obama mask? What about wearing a black suit, white shirt, black tie with Obama's mask? Are you going to have to take sensitivity training for your children and or adults that go to a party wearing an Obama mask?
No, I'm not going to, and I don't think that we should, and I think that this whole thing that is going on with these rodeo clowns is stupid and ludicrous. There are so many other more important topics that are considered national tragedies, aside from this one. You know what? Kudos to these guys.
Yeah, not only kudos, but there you just touched on it. What did they do wrong that they have to be forced coerced with the threat of what? Having their card pulled in that association. If they don't go to the sensitivity training, then they're not going to be able to work. I mean, this is absolutely an infringement on our right of free speech, and every one of those clowns in that association should say, not only no, but heck no, not to that sensitivity training. I don't believe in being forced and coerced into this. We still have free speech in this country.
Well, and I'm sorry, and like we said yesterday, when you take a political office, you are opening yourself up to ridicule, and that is something that you have to understand. We don't care what race you are. We care about the office that you hold. Nixon, Reagan, Bush Sr., Bush Jr., let's see here, Margaret Thatcher, we've got the Clintons. Everybody who's been in a political office has been ridiculed, poked fun at.
And masks have been made of them and used throughout all their tenure and after they were in office. Okay. I'll tell you.
Yeah, this is dumb, and maybe I'll post this up on our Facebook page. There's an artist out there, and if you go back into the mid-'80s, Genesis actually put out a video that was very, very political, where they made cartoon characters of every single major political person at that point in time. Did they have to take sensitivity training? No, they didn't. This is our right. We have the right to speak out.
I've got a right to speak out and do our break here I've got to get into, but I want to just tell you this. Do you know that Josh Earnest, a White House spokesman for Obama while the president is playing golf on Martha's Vineyard, came out yesterday and said he wasn't sure whether the president would address his reaction personally to this national tragedy?
Why doesn't the president just come out and say, you know what, they have the right to poke fun. It is my job as a person in office to kind of laugh because I know I'm putting myself into this position. Move on. This is not a national tragedy. They're allowed to speak their mind.
Amen. Hey, do we have Jim McCall on the phone?
Let me call him.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to quickly do the Pacific Steel and Recycling. We're going to go out of order just a little bit. Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley, 678-2321 now brings you the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
Food and Drug Administration officials visited farms, packing sheds, and irrigation systems in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington this week to get a first-hand look at how their proposed produce safety rule would impact farmers. They left vowing to change the rule, but didn't offer specifics on what the changes would be. Many farmers, particularly onion and apple growers, say the FDA's proposed standards governing the quality of irrigation water cannot be met and are impractical. The rule, part of the Food Safety Modernization Act, applies to any produce that could be consumed raw and affects any agricultural waters that could come into contact with that produce. With the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Hannah Brous.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Thank you very much. Brought to you by Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley. Hey, if you need help hauling in your scrap for this summer and you want to get rid of it, they offer a wide variety of bins, dumpsters, everything you need, and they'll help you, too. These are wonderful people at Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley. Call them today at 678-2321. Let's check with Gina and see if we've got Jim on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, Jim McCall, Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn, 438-8730, the king of Bubba Ropes. Good morning, Jim. What's cooking over at Travel Lube?
Well, good morning, Zeb. Well, the grain harvest is winding down already. I don't know if you noticed that. But guys going to be getting ready for spud and beet harvest, get them tractor service and trucks, get them air filters changed.
Now, I want to tell you about...
We'll still do, if you've never used our air filter cleaning service, we will clean the first one free so you can see what we're doing and gain some trust that way.
You know, Jim, the cleaning of those air filters, boy, I'm telling you, that saves a lot of money. I mean, a lot of people just say, oh, bag it, throw it away, but then they get to thinking about it. They're just literally throwing dollars in the trash can, and you can clean them so that they're reusable and almost brand spanking new, right?
Well, we like to think they're even better than new. They've actually been inspected. Visiting with some people a week or two ago, and when you buy a new air filter, there may only be maybe 1 in 100 of them that's ever been looked at. So you don't know if they've got a flaw or not. Every one of our clean filters has been inspected a couple of times to make sure that there is not a problem.
Well, I'll keep telling everybody about it. By golly, it's good to hear your smiling voice. This is Jim McCall of Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn, 438-8730. Jim, how's the Bubba Ropes doing?
Hey, we've got them in stock, Zeb. Harvest is coming up. If you're in need of a rope, I know nobody ever gets stuck, but if you ever happen to, we've got ropes available, and let us know if you got special needs. We can get them ordered and get them in for you.
All right, real quick, Jim, you got to do it one more time. I want you to say Bubba Ropes.
more, Monroe.
Okay. Jim, take care of my friend Jim McCall, Travel Loop Supply. Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Bye-bye. Good guy. Good sport, too. Hey, don't forget next week, the great, big, huge, and it is huge, Box Elder County Fair and Golden Spike Rodeo. Blue Jeans and Country Dreams. August 19th through the 24th. Oh, they're going to have a ripping good time along with all the fair activities. Next Tuesday night, they're going to have a team branding and kids scramble. And then on Wednesday night, the Bulls, Broncs, and Barrels. That's a wild event. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next week, Golden Spike Rodeo. Oh my, it's a ripping good one with the big screen TV and everything. It's going to be fantabulous. Don't forget your Box Elder County Fair and Golden Spike Rodeo. Come on down to Tremont in Utah. Blue Jeans and Country Dreams. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, you talk about sensitivity training. I think all these people, these NAACP and all them guys, Black Panthers and all that, they're the ones that need the sensitivity training. And I think Mr. Wrangle and all the rest of them jokers ought to be like the clown and have a little bit more sensitivity towards the United States of America.
You know, Al, stop right there with Charlie Wrangle, because you brought up an excellent point. 2 weeks ago, Charlie Wrangle was saying, and he thought possibly he was off camera, but it was caught on camera and microphone, where he started calling us white folks white crackers. And it seems like the liberal left, and especially the black portion of the liberal left, they can get away with saying what they want, doing what they want, and the media will side with them. I find this to be totally offensive, especially now knowing that the NAACP has demanded the Department of Justice and Secret Service get involved in investigating this performance and the people. This is outlandish, and I condemn them for it.
Well, I'm going to put the blame of a lot of this right back on the House of Representatives. They have the power to put the peanut power on them people that are doing this stuff and put a stop to it. There's no guts.
Absolutely. Al, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. This thing, this event, this problem at the Missouri State Fair has taken on legs and started to run in various and many directions. Unfortunately, it's almost like a cancer cell. It's starting to grow bigger and bigger, and there's no need for it. This whole thing was just nothing more than a tidbit of humor that has been used and done many times in the past. And I'm going to say this. This was not a professional Rodeo Cowboys Association rodeo. It was not a sanctioned PRCA rodeo. Doesn't make any difference. I've looked at what happened. Caller, I'm coming. Just a minute. I've looked at what happened on the video. I understand what was happened. I understand what was said. And that basically encompasses something that has happened at many, many rodeos across the country when George Bush was in office, Bill Clinton was in office, etc. And now all of a sudden, the sacred cow attitude, you can't do anything or say anything about Obama, has loomed onto the horizon, and this is ridiculous. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I'm a little confused this morning. I haven't heard anything about the attack on that white boy on the bus by the three black guys.
I've had it on my program yesterday, Tony. I talked about it yesterday.
Oh, okay. I must have missed it yesterday.
Well, what I said quickly is I thought it was absolutely atrocious that those three black punk teenagers would get nothing more than 9 months probation after they almost killed this young man, this 13-year-old, by beating him, breaking his arm, blackening his eyes, and if the fight would have gone on much longer, they could have killed him with the beating. And to get probation and be released basically to their parents' recognizance, I think this is asinine. It's the court system at its worst.
Yeah, whatever happened to the religious section of the black people? They should be up in airs about this.
What specifically are you talking about, Tony? Basically, explain what you mean.
The church people, people that want to better the position that the black people have in this country, and to have the courts basically condone what went on. You think the churches would get involved in it?
Well, and let me turn this around, and I'm so sick and tired of race stories, but let's turn it around and be honest and fair and balanced. And if somebody's offended by that, that's their problem, not mine. Had it been three white youths beating beating up a younger black youth. Tony, you would have heard it on every station, every media, every hour, written on the front page of every newspaper, and they would have been demanding that these three would have been absolutely thrown in jail as adults.
Well, you're absolutely right. And about that hatred thing, people hating you in Washington, you're effective. That's why it's happening.
I thank you for that, Tony. God bless you and Mary. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody, oh, yes, it's coming up this weekend, the great big Idaho Summit, Idaho Liberty Summit, and it's going to be this Friday and Saturday at the Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center. Please show you care. Be there. Take pride in what America was and can be again. It's sponsored by the Idaho Tea Party. Please contact Moon & Associates, 436-3714, or Ramsey Heating and Electric, and get registered for this event. Third annual Idaho Liberty Summit coming up in Burley this weekend. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Is that Bill?
Yes, talk to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, for the most part, sometimes I don't agree with you, but on this one, I'm going to have to hang right in with you on the sensitivity issue. The next thing, Mr. Bell, is going to be Siberia, because if you speak about the government, mock the government and all that, hey, our freedom of speech is being infringed on, and I'm going to have to agree with you that we have to do something about this where you can't say anything anymore.
That's
and
right.
The next thing, Mr. Bell, is they're going to come get you, me, and everybody else. Anyway, with that, I'll listen to you, and I'll jump off the air. Bye.
Thank you, sir. That was very kind of you. Whether people agree with me or not, we can still talk in a gentlemanly and ladylike manner and respectfully disagree. And that gentleman was very, very nice, and I appreciate his call. I just really don't know what to think about this situation with the NAACP and the demanding. This is a word that scares me. The word demanding. They're not going to let this issue rest. They're not going to let this issue go away. They are demanding that the Department of Justice, oh boy, here we go with Eric Holder again, and the Secret Service, the guys that wear the black suits and kind of have the sunglasses on, investigate this performance, investigate this clown, investigate that announcer, investigate the entirety of the events that led up to this. This is very sinister. And when you have a national spokesman for the Obama White House saying that this is a national tragedy, this thing has got completely out of hand. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I used to, we routinely see terrible, cartoons of George Bush, and I didn't love George Bush anyway, but, nobody said anything about it. I've seen him, dummies of him hung and lit on fire, and nothing was ever said, not one thing. What really needs to happen is this needs to occur all over this country at different events, and people need to speak up, not to be disrespectful, but we have a right to do what we want. And this was done in jest. And to take this like you're some sort of a child and you're offended, and I will not be mocked is such a crock, I can't even believe it.
Randy, let me ask you this. What is the difference? Please define for me. It wasn't that many months ago, and please, I am not going to be held down as to the exact date or where or when I saw this cartoon. It was a political cartoon, and it showed a bus, and it said U.S. economy on the side. And it was racing towards the cliff, and Obama was standing there, and the artist that drew the cartoon showed him with the big ears and the big toothy grin, trying to hold his hands out to stop the bus that said U.S. economy from going over the cliff with his bare hand. Now, that was an inference that the bus was going to drive over and possibly hurt Obama. May I please ask you the difference between what this clown did in the rodeo arena with the enticement of the bull versus that cartoon with the possible running over of Obama the president? What is the difference when it comes to the humor line?
There is none. These people pick and choose, and the useful idiots and the apathetic morons go along. And at the top of every hour, ABC, NBC, CBS, even Fox promote this kind of crap. And I'm telling you, Zeb, maybe, just maybe, this might wake another group of folks up, and they'll say, well, this is like the gentleman who just called and says, well, we have to have free speech. Well, that's true. We don't have to agree, but at least care.
That's right.
Something.
I appreciate it, Randy. God bless you, man. Thanks much. Hey, caller, don't go away. Do not leave. You won't get $200 or get your out-of-jail card free if you hang up. I've got to do the weather real quick with Michael Rogers. I'll be right back. Michael, please.
Hey, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sun, hot, smoke. Look for a high today of about, I'm going to say 100. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 101. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 98. But it's going to be sunny. It's going to be hot. That smoke's going to be around. There are 9 active wildfires in the state of Idaho as we speak. So enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you've got.
There you go, MichaelRogersWeather.com. And by the way, I also want to remind you, be aware and be wary of door-to-door salespeople that are selling Dish or DirecTV. They will lie to you to get in your house. They tried to get in my house doing the same thing, and we told them nicely to let's see their shadow leaving the yard. Anyway, they will even might say that they're associated with Quali's Electronics. Untrue, and it's a lie. Quali's Electronics flies on their own, and believe me, they only do business out of their location at 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls, and you can call them and verify this, 733-4910. When it comes to Dish or DirecTV, they'll explore the options with you and try to save you as much money as possible, and then install it and service to your satisfaction. Quali's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Can you tell me who got killed by this?
No one, Jerry.
Who got hurt?
No one, Jerry.
You know what you're listening to? The door on the Prince's Hospital deal again all day. It's another cover-up of our news. They aren't giving us information on things that's happening. Our news is absolutely deplorable. Deplorable. It's ridiculous what the news media is doing to our country by covering up crap with ridiculous, phony baloney.
Jerry, are you saying, certainly you don't mean this, you're not trying to tell us that the news media is picking and choosing subjects that might try to overshadow more important subjects so that those subjects are swept under the rug? Certainly you're not imploring that, are you?
I absolutely am.
Oh, Jerry.
And I think it's a disgrace. You know, the United States has been known for a country with a free press. The last few years, the press has got plumb ridiculous. It's almost to the point I don't even want to turn it on. All you hear about is crappy authors that know no more than anybody else out there. They're just big mouths making money off the media, and the media is doing this to cover crap up.
I agree. Jerry, as always, I appreciate your remarks. I got a lot of people standing in line. God bless you, man. Have a great day, okay?
You bet. Bye-bye.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, Kilt Man. What's going on?
Well, you know, my understanding is I think the guy over the fair, didn't he resign because of this?
Well, the resignation has been by rodeo announcer Mark Ficken, and he has decided to resign and not have his job there anymore. He is also a superintendent of a school district, and he is afraid that the NAACP is going to demand that he also lose his job with the Department of Education. This whole thing has got completely out of hand, Kilt Man.
Well, I agree. And, you know, one of the downsides of this thing is they pick a situation where the majority of the people at a rodeo usually are like you and I. You know, we're trying to work for a living. We're trying to do things right and everything like that. And we're usually, I'd say the majority of them are usually against Obama and what's going on. And that's who they're picking to go after.
Well, let me ask you.
So they're trying to curtail us.
Let me ask you this. Last year, I'll give you for instance, and if anybody's upset about this, that, again, is their problem, not mine. Last year, you came up in the booth prior to the Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo and said hello. Did you not?
I did.
All right, you were there. So in other words, my dear friend, and I'm trying to get him on the air later on this morning if I can catch him on his cell phone, Randy Munns the Clown. We have had many jokes about everything, whether it's redheads, whether it's blondes, whether it's politics, whatever. Are we going to have to now pick and choose, because we're going to have to be so careful as to who might be offended, who might start demanding sensitivity training, who might all of a sudden demand that we lose our jobs and our careers? What in the world happened to free speech in this country?
Well, number one, no. Don't change anything you're doing, either one of you. You know, it's a clown. He's doing stuff to make people laugh, make jokes, stuff like that. You know, keep the people going, and he's doing his job, okay? Whether it's politics or whatever else, doesn't matter. He's doing his job. Let him do his job. Get over it, people. Get off the road.
Do you understand, and I know you do, I don't mean to make an inference that you don't, but do you understand as the public how dangerous and insidious this movement by the NAACP is to demand the Department of Justice and the Secret Service get involved?
I think it's stupid as all get out. We've got more important things going on in this world that they need to be taken care of to go after a comedian. I mean, look at all the comedians out there. And, you know, nothing to say about it, but you look at black comedians, they sit there and do jokes about blacks and stuff like that, and everybody just laughs. But if a white guy does it, guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to get nailed.
Yeah, but you know, Kilman, here's the part that more or less is the worst scenario for me to think about. You know, had the NAACP demanded the Department of Justice and the Secret Service investigate perhaps Benghazi, or the IRS scandal, or the thuggery going on against small business here in America, and they stood up and demanded that there be an investigation, what is more severe? What's happening in our country, what's happened overseas with people that have been shot and killed, nobody's been brought to justice, or the demanding of the Secret Service get involved to check out what a rodeo clown had on his head an Obama mask? You tell me.
Well, you know, it's so stupid. It's laughable. You know, it's pathetic. I mean, like I said, there's more important things for these people to be doing. The NAACP, as far as I'm concerned, is a flipping joke. I mean, if anybody needs to be checked out, it should be them.
Absolutely. Kiltman, I always appreciate it. Hope I see you at the rodeo. Have a good time. Thank you.
You will, my friend.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo in full swing. Today, Thursday, my goodness, they got a whole list of things that are going to be done. They've got entertainment on the free stage. Don't forget the rodeo starts tonight. It's kids' night tonight. Holy cow, family night's always really a lot of fun. And, of course, tomorrow on Friday at the rodeo, Tough Enough to Wear Pink. And then on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, they've got all the pari-mutuel horse races starting in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. If you can't have fun at the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, you're not trying very hard. It's there. It's ready for you at your Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo. Don't you miss it all this week. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeb. As far as the Secret Service getting involved in what that rodeo clown is doing, why don't they get involved in what the president was doing during the Benghazi incident?
Are you referring...
What's that?
Are you referring possibly that the president did not watch on TV the results of what was going on in Benghazi, that he left the room and he was absolutely playing a card game called Spades with some of the Secret Service people?
Oh, I'm not inferring it. I'm pretty positive of it. He was anything but where he should have been.
That's right.
Had he been there, we wouldn't have lost those great Americans.
By the way, Riley, I was just going to say, what I just brought up, I can verify. It has been written by Jamie Weinstein of the Daily Caller that Obama got up and said, I'm not going to be down there in that room. I can't watch this thing. So he got up and went into a card game while the results of Benghazi were going on. And I should say, pardon me, I want to make a correction. That was not Benghazi. It was during the killing of Osama bin Laden. I want to make that emphasis clear. I made a misnomer there. I want to correct it. The president excused himself from the room even though those pictures came out and said that he was intently silently watching our troops, our SEAL Team 6. That's not true. He left to go get in a card game called Spades, and didn't come back until the cameras and everybody else shot pictures of him and Hillary watching the Osama bin Laden raid. So I want to correct that. Thank you.
It's okay. And another thing that just really is getting on my nerves is they can, NAACP can find and file suit against anybody and everybody they want. I mean, for nothing. You know, literally nothing. You look at a guy sideways, and by golly, they're going to be right there on you, and they're going to sue you, and make your life miserable.
Well, they are now. They are with this gentleman and the other people involved with the Missouri State Fair, and when you start throwing words around of demanding, and I got to hurry and do a commercial here, but when you start throwing words around like demanding that the Secret Service and the Department of Justice get involved, that's pretty heavy stuff there, Riley.
It is. And one quick thing before I go, I would like to find some way that we could file charges against the state of Missouri, against the NAACP, and against those kids who beat the holy living crap out of the other kid on the school bus.
In Florida,
Tell
yes.
me that wasn't race on race. I know darn well it was.
Roddy, appreciate your call and your comments. Always well thought out. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, our major sponsor right here, and we're certainly proud to have them. All 7 locations serving you with the best in tires. I mean the best in tires. All the different tread designs, all the different usages, whether it's for your car, pickup, SUV, camp trailer, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. They got your tires, believe me. And they've got the best brake service available, too, at all 7 locations. They really serve you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers the best. With Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Lane and Rupert, John on Poline, and my buddy Randy, the old Seahawk fan, on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Do I have a caller waiting?
No.
Oh, okay. Gina, real quick, this is not going to go away anytime soon, I'm afraid, because the liberals won't let it. But, you know, I'll go back to what I said many times during this hour. The NAACP demanding the Department of Justice and Secret Service investigate what the White House is now calling a national tragedy. This has been blown completely out of proportion.
It has been blown way out of proportion, and I think that the NAACP really needs to step back and reevaluate their platform, because I don't think that they are serving the public and their constituents in the way that they need to be.
Amen. I've got to take a break and be back in about 6 minutes. Got a full slate, full sheet of all kinds of people coming on this morning. Don't miss it. We'll be right back. Holy buckets. Can't carry a lot of water in those. Anyway, welcome back, hour number 2. On Thursdays, as you know, we're very, very busy with some sequences and different segments that have to be taken care of and different sponsors and everything during the 9 to 10 hours, so we're going to be really busy. But I want to just tell you before we get rolling here, during the 10 to 11 hour, we're going to have some changes, and Gina's been alerted to those changes. We do think at 10:30 this morning we have finally found Randy Munns, clown at large, and we're going to talk to him for a few minutes, and then also about a benefit. A little boy got hurt at the fair, I understand, and we're going to do something to try to help aid and abet benefit they're going to have for him. So we're going to talk about that a little later. Holy cow, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell. Good morning. Brought to you by your major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with our friends at Lease Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley, and our friends at Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always Georgia's soul. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at Georgia's soul. Western Way Services.
Absolutely, always at your disposal. Don't forget summer rental of restrooms with the standalone hand wash stations for parties and company picnics and, of course, family reunions. Don't say you've got everything, the potato salad, the chairs, everything. Forgot the porta potties. Better get them rented right now today, 734-6969. 734-6969. Always at your disposal. Our good friends, Western Waste Services. Give them a call today. Before we get our guest on the phone, I want to quickly remind you, too, about our dear friend, Mr. Joel Heward. What a nice person over at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness, yes. Always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity of serving you and your families during a very, very rough time. They understand when there's the passing of a loved one, there's a lot of things that have to be done in a big hurry, and they are there to assist you. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. I'll say it again, 436-5636. Well, lo and behold, the beautiful blonde lady from the Chamber of Commerce is here. Hello, Kay Cameron.
Good morning, Zeb Bell.
How are you?
I'm great, and you?
I'll let you know after the first performance tonight.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on my way in this morning. I thought, oh, Zeb Bell's going to have to change his habits and sleep in late and stay up late.
Oh, boy.
Get up early and go to bed early.
There's a lot of truth to that. You know, I am at my old age of being Rip Van Winkle. I set a pattern of going to sleep, turning the light off at 9 o'clock at night. Now, I'm just getting started at 9 o'clock at night now, and things are a little bit different.
Yeah, that's great. But it's always great to have you participate in the county fair, and I know everybody's looking forward to the rodeo.
Kay, what else is going on at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce?
Well, we're very busy this week with all of the activities going on with fair, and we want to encourage everybody to get out and participate in the county fair and support all of the activities that they've got going on. But just because the fair is going on doesn't mean that our work stops. But there's something else I want to talk about today, and I know it was all over in the news last week, and we're just very excited about the McCain Foods expansion that is happening in the community here. It's a huge investment in our community. A lot of jobs are going to be created, and we're just very, very excited about this.
You know, it's just an enhancement of the area. It's an enhancement of employment. It's an enhancement of opportunity. It's an enhancement of the visibility and viability of our Magic Valley. Everything is a positive.
Absolutely, and oftentimes we just hear, oh, well, there's just nothing going on, and there's nothing going on. But the reality is there are always things going on and things taking place, a lot of it behind the scenes, and people just don't understand. A lot of times things take time. It just doesn't happen overnight, and in addition to this, there's been other site visits that have taken place in our community. Whether or not those will actually come to fruition is a different story, but the fact is people are coming here, they're checking us out, and anytime somebody comes here to visit us, that's a very positive thing for our community.
You know, Kay, I was looking at the calendar last night, and I had to make some plans going into September, October, and November. Can you believe that it's almost time for kids to go back to school?
No, I actually had the opportunity to enroll my oldest in kindergarten this year, and it's a little unsettling, a little unnerving.
Okay, now, what else is coming up that we need to be aware of after the Cassia County Fair?
Well, after the fair, there's, check out our community calendar. There's still a lot of things going on, but another thing I wanted to mention, and I tried to get some numbers this morning on our unemployment rates, but we have done very well in the Minnecasia community about our unemployment. But today at the Idaho Department of Labor, if any listeners out there are looking for a job or know somebody who's looking for a job, they're having a job fair over to the Department of Labor until noon, and it's for Americold. They're currently hiring, and they're having a job fair. Send people over there to learn about the opportunities because there is work available, and we're just very excited about the opportunities that we have in our community.
Absolutely, and I will probably see you, I'm sure, at the Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo. And as I say to all my friends that come up in the booth, bring food.
Okay.
Okay. Kay Cameron, Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, thanks much for being here this morning.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Wonderful lady representing the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. And I've got some things right now. Let's see, I've got some notes here. Going to be a golf scramble. I got to get this on here real quick. Going to be a golf scramble, and the way some of these guys play golf, it's going to be a scramble, all right. And when they sent the notice over, it says scamble. I don't know if it's a scam or if it's a scramble, but they got golf scamble for the Lutheran Layman's League, and it's going to be coming up this Saturday at 93 Golf Ranch on Highway 93, and it starts at 8:30 in the morning. Entry fee $65 per person, and my good friend Jerry Werner is going to head this thing up, and the number is 829-4277, 829-4277, and if you're a single golfer and don't have the any member of a team or anything, they'll be placing you with a team. Okay? Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo is in full swing. And today, Thursday, they're going to have all kinds of 4-H and FFA beef market quality. They're going to have the 4-H basket fundraiser bidding, and that's going to be at the 4-H open class building. They're going to have, of course, the carnivals in full swing, and at 1 p.m., Queen and Princess horsemanship today, and tonight. Yes, tonight is family night at the PRCA Ram Rodeo at the Cassia County Fair. Going to be excellent. We have got a great list of contestants, many of which are world's champions, running to be the world champion, past world's champions. It's going to be a great rodeo. It goes tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday night. And by the way, on Friday night at your Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo, that, of course, will be Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Campaign night. So don't forget that tomorrow night at the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo. So there you go. All kinds of things going on at your Cassia County Fair and Rodeo for 2013. I believe it is time to go over the river and through the woods and possibly get Karen on the air from Rock Creek Growers. Let's check with Gina and see if she's available.
I am on hold waiting for her.
You're on hold. You spend most of your life on hold.
I know.
What are you going to do this weekend besides work?
Well, I think I'm going to be visiting you at the fair tonight, and then there's some other events that I have to go to, and I got to work on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a busy next couple of days, but this is fair season, so I'm on a full sprint until the end of the month.
I've got a picture in my mind's eye of poor Kennedy, your little boy, on a bungee cord bracelet. Mom's going, "Doo!" over this way, and Kennedy's on the fly.
Well, the good thing is he is out camping with his dad and up until the 25th, so I don't have to have him on the bungee. Lucky for him, or that poor kid would just be run ragged.
You know, and I really, the little kids, you know, when mom and dad have to work, like at a fair or some other event, it just seems like they're like on a bungee cord. I mean, they're just taking the last bite of that cheeseburger, and you go, "Come on, we gotta go!"
Yeah, and they're like, "Wait, what? And they have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have Karen on the line?
Yes, we do.
Lovely lady. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the lovely Karen Anderson at Rock Creek Growers on the corner of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets. Nice, warm day, Karen. What are you doing at Rock Creek Growers?
Oh, my gosh. We are having a multi-family yard sale out here, and it starts tomorrow. So can you imagine what's going on over here?
You're having a multi-family yard sale. So you're telling me that this multi-family yard sale has taken up a lot of space at Rock Creek Growers.
Well, let's just say the whole shop is full, and we haven't even gotten three of the other families that are coming in for it. So we're going to have a huge yard sale.
Well, now, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, it kind of stems from years of junk and having storage sheds and deciding that, you know what, why are we doing this?
Yeah, but it's...
there's some nice things there, but both of the daughters are putting things in. We have some employees that put some things in. We have some other people that are bringing things in that knew we were having the yard sale. So we have the space, and we decided why not. Plus, everything here is 25% off, so, they can come out and shop the yard sale, and then if they need some plants, hey, it's 25% off.
Yeah, but wait a minute. One person's junk is another person's treasure, so this might be a treasure trove of interesting things at Rock Creek Growers today.
It is. I mean, it's really ironic because we've been moving my mother for a couple years, and she was very much a hoarder. But she was very big into the craft, so we have all kinds of wood items. If there's anybody out there that does toll painting, we have bags of fabric, we have yarn, we have, serger threads. I mean, you can't imagine what Mom had. And then my grandmother was a china collector, and so we have all kinds of the little teacups and saucers and stuff. And there's some of the, the state ones, but there are some beautiful cups and saucers, and we have lots of cabin stuff. We have kids' clothes. We have kids' toys. We have books like you can't imagine. Some camping gear. We have radios and stereos for rigs. We have, believe it or not, Randy's even got some things out of the upper end that is like the winches for trucks, portable winches.
Holy cow.
You can't imagine all the stuff that's out here.
Holy cow. And all of that's going on, what, today and tomorrow?
It is Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
And Saturday, it's 8 to 3 on Saturday and 8 to 5 tomorrow. And I think as much stuff that is still coming in, we'll be setting things out both days.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. And if they can have a yard sale, they've got 39 acres of heaven over there, and I'll guarantee you they're going to have a yard sale. This is going to be really something to see at Rock Creek Growers on the corner of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets in Kimberly, 423-6800. Karen, hurry up and finish marking down all that stuff. You got to get the prices. People are coming in.
I'm with you. I have to bring in the recruits to help with this project. So
I can tell you're really excited about it. Have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Karen at the lovely, great, beautiful location of Maxine Lane and Irene Streets in Kimberly, Rock Creek Growers. I love that place. Let me see. I'm getting a text. I wonder if that's from Gina. No, I got oh my goodness. I want to give an update here real quick, and thank you whoever sent this to me. I think it was Butch Shields. My good friend last night, Sam Gillette, was injured in a horse rollover at a team roping we were at the Jerome County Fairgrounds, and the ambulance had to run out and pick him up, and we just are getting a update. He is home, had a concussion last night and broken ribs, but in cowboy terminology, he's fine. And we're going to wish him the very best, and I'm going to try to call him right after the program. Sam Gillette, dear friend, formerly out of the Burley-Rupert area, now living in Twin Falls, and had a bad accident last night, but he is going to be okay. God's blessings to Sam Gillette. By the way, whose doggone dogs are all these?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Who let those dogs out? My goodness sakes, it must have been Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control Officer. Hello there, Officer Mort.
How are we doing today, Zeb?
Not as good as you, I'll tell you what, because you got a big grin on your face and you're going to talk about puppy dogs. Go ahead.
Yes, I am. We are featuring this week Dixie Chick. She is a brindle Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Which people always confuse the Staffordshire Bull Terriers with pit bulls, which they aren't pit bulls. They're like a midget looking one to them, but they are real. They're actually a lot nicer dogs. They are sweethearts, and I mean she loves to be on a leash, loves to play, and that is just real friendly, and that enjoys kids. Doesn't really have an issue with other dogs. I mean, she's just a plain old sweetheart. And she has been spayed already. We got that taken care of, so whoever comes in and adopts her and stuff and that will have a dog that's already been spayed, so they won't have to worry about that. And then I also got something else I wanted to throw out there. The 24th of August over at Cal Ranch in North Burley, I've got a bunch of volunteers that are going to do an adoption days, which I've given Gina the flyer on, and she's got all the information. She'll get it posted up for you guys.
Okay.
But we're hoping to be able to find a bunch of the rest of our nice furry friends and stuff in at homes. And if they are interested in getting a hold of us on any of our dogs, they can reach me at the shelter at 438-2200 or on my cell phone at 670-7268.
All right, now tell me again the name of the breed of the dog you were talking about earlier.
She is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
I dare you to say that fast 5 times and still be on the air next week. What did Gina say in the background?
668.
Okay. Now listen, Ken, if people are looking for a dog, a particular type of dog, and it comes through the shelter, do you offer the service of trying to keep in touch with them?
Yes, we do. Basically, all they got to do is if they come in and we don't have what they're looking for, they just leave their name and phone number and what they're actually looking for. We keep it right there, and as soon as we got something that comes in that matches their description, we contact them and let them know, and they come back, and if it's somebody that they wind up falling in love with, they turn around and take them home.
All right. Officer Ken Mort, who let these dogs out anyway?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. There's a guy that absolutely loves his business, and he loves dogs. I mean, every time I'm sitting around talking to him, he just absolutely just gets a great big grin on his face. That man loves dogs, and he's very well suited for the job. Hey, let's ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, open Tuesdays through Saturdays. Holy buckets, they've got all the 2014 models showing up daily, and they've got in stock right now the Can-Am Maverick Max 4-seater. That is a ripping good machine. And they've got a great service department. I'm telling you what, if you don't get over there and check out all the great buys, fall's coming up, people want to get up and enjoy all the fall colors up in the hills and everything. Woo! Let's ride. Where the fun is sold, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. You stop in and see these wonderful people today. Got time for a couple of phone... By the way, did you hear about just a little bitty goof? Now, just a little bitty mistake. Well, come on, it wasn't that big a deal. It only cost us as taxpayers about $13-14 million in round figures. It was just a little mistake. The U.S. Treasury printed millions of $100 bills wrong. They had a mistake on them. They had to throw all of them away. They just had to pick up the paper out of the printing press, millions of dollars of $100 bills, and burn them. It's just a little bitty mistake. It only cost us $13 or $14 million. And real quick in the news also, Congressman from Idaho, Raul Labrador, says no, he's not going to challenge Idaho Governor Butch Otter for the gubernatorial post. He said he's going to run for a third term in the House of Representatives as one of our Idaho congressmen. So that's just a couple of things. Let's see what else happened here. Here's something for parents real quick. In case you're looking at little Johnny and Susie at the dinner table, and little Johnny is a smart aleck and says things to you, Mom and Dad, that aren't real nice, and little Susie goes, "Oh, whatever," and gets up and walks away. Something I just thought I'd throw out as a reminder, the new figures are out on how much money it takes to raise a child from birth to age 18 and then open the door and drop kick them into the reality of life. It takes $241,000 to raise a child from birth to age 18, and then they sit there and they go, "Whatever." just remind them who is paying the bills. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. When you think about life insurance, think about Cameron and Siemens. Yes. When you think about health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, think about Cameron and Siemens. When you are really thinking about your security, and you should be, and your family security, your business security, think about the professionals. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call, 436-4424. Give them a call today. Let me see. In just a few moments, we're going to have the lovely Rita Ramsey on our program, and we're going to be talking about many other things, including the third annual Idaho Liberty Summit that's coming up this weekend at the Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center. Take pride in what America was and can be again. And our thanks to the Idaho Tea Party for being the sponsoring agent of this great big event coming up this weekend. Also, I want to remind you, we're going to be at the Cassia County Fair tonight for the first performance of the Great Big Rodeo, going Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and don't miss a minute of it. Please come on out and enjoy your Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo. Do we have Rita ready to go over there?
No, she hasn't called me in, and Rita, if you're listening, call me.
Oh, my goodness. And you're sitting over there just kind of, by the way, has the barn been painted today on time, or did you have a real problem?
Hair is done, and I am ready to rock and roll.
You're ready to rock and roll, boy. I tell you what, the barn's painted, and you're all dressed up. What are you all dressed up to go to a big party or something later on?
I'm going to see you later this evening.
Oh, you know, that came across very sultry. Maybe we should explain. My wife will be there, too.
Well, I know that. But yeah, I'm bringing you guys some goodies.
I broke out into a chilled sweat on my forehead, thinking Goober's in the other room going, oh, really?
Oh, well, Goober knows that I love her. Actually, I love her more than I love you. But,
that.
Truth be told.
That opened up another Pandora's box, too. We just keep taking the shovel and digging the hole deeper.
Yes, we do, don't we?
Yes.
Yes, on the line now.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk to a lovely lady right now, and a big event coming up this weekend, the third annual Idaho Liberty Summit at the Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center. And I know this lady's going to be there. Hello, lovely Rita Ramsey.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Well, I got to ask you, let's start first of all with the Idaho Liberty Summit, and I've been saying I added my own tagline to it. I hope you're not upset about that. I said, take pride in what America was and can be again. I use that as my own personal theme for your event. I hope that's okay.
Actually, it's the way that we feel. We do. We're anxious that people would gain knowledge so that they feel like that they have some power to make some changes where changes are necessary.
What do you think about this summit? What are you trying to achieve this weekend?
Well, with the various different speakers that we've got, we're hoping that we can get people interested, that they'll go back to the areas where they live and spread the word of things that need to be changed. We've got a couple of different people that will be talking about the Second Amendment and constitutional sheriff. And incidentally, on the constitutional sheriff thing, we've run into a little bit of negative resistance by local people. So I'll just let it sit at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But anyway, we've got someone that's going to be coming and talking about the Common Core. And the more I read about that, the more frustrated I am with our state and the federal government trying to federalize education. And these people who think, oh yeah, it's nothing, this is wonderful. It's standards that are all equal across the nation. Yeah, you're darn right it's equal across the nation. It's ankle high instead of waist or shoulder high for standards. Mm-hmm. And all they've done is lower them, and that means dumbing down of our kids.
I agree. I do agree. Rita, what else is going to take place at the summit? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about politics. There's going to be a lot of talk about the midterm 2014 elections. There's going to be a lot of talk about Obama. There's going to be a lot of talk about the scandals. What else are you going to try to cover at this summit?
Well, we basically have 5 different speakers who have different topics. One of the speakers is Ken Ivory, who is a Utah representative in his state, and he works with the American Lands Council. And they have been working around the nation trying to get people educated about what needs to be done so that the federal lands can be given back to the states so that they can use and manage them the best way that their state does, not federal, because the federal people have let these things just go untaken care of, and they've become tinder boxes, and we're just burning them up.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to talk to you about this morning, and first of all, let's cover this before I jump out of the area. They would like people to register by calling 436-3714, Moon and Associates in Rupert, or they can contact you at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. And the main reason to register ahead of time is because there's a lunch included, and we need to be able to have kind of a count for how many would be attending the lunch, because the lunch is in the middle of the day, you know. Okay. And that's the main thing. But if people haven't registered ahead and you want to just come over, you're welcome to come over and sign up and register at the door. There's a deal Friday night that will be a meet and greet at 7 o'clock, and that will be with all the speakers and those who are attending. And you can ask questions and visit with them. There's a number of politicians that have consented to come and visit and be here. So there will be a number of different types of people, even though the politicians aren't going to have speaking parts necessarily. They'll just be introductions.
All right. We'll hit this, excuse me, in about another 15 minutes before we sign off. Rita, I think I'm closer to this story than most people because I've been in the rodeo business for over 43 years. When I heard the first inklings about the problem that was going on at the Missouri State Fair and started doing some research into what was done, what wasn't done, and what now is trying to be perpetrated by the NAACP, demanding the Department of Justice and the Secret Service investigate this clown for nothing more than making putting on an Obama mask and basically inciting a bull to try to run over him. This is absolutely ridiculous, and even the White House staffers this morning are calling this a national tragedy. The liberals are picking this football up and running with it. Rita, this is completely out of control.
This is what is called an Obama distraction.
Yep.
Something happened, they decided to take advantage of it, and they've blown it clear out of proportion. I'll tell you something. If that would have happened here, you would have seen me leading a protest against the rodeo people and everybody else on something like that. And I would hope that those people locally and in their state are just up in arms over that, because first of all, that guy can say whatever he wants. And I was reading a different article, and I thought that somebody made a really good analogy. They said the Constitution is not about speak that we agree with. The Constitution is about speech that we don't agree with. You are free in this country to express disagreeable opinions. The Bill of Rights guarantees freedom of speech, and that's what should be upheld.
Well, now, wait a minute. I want to just interrupt you a minute because you were a little vague on how you stated your position when you started your comment. You said you would have been out and protested the rodeo people. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the rodeo clown and free speech, or are you on the side of the liberals?
Whoever said he cannot attend that rodeo anymore.
Ah, okay.
That's who I would be protesting against, and that has to do with the people who run the rodeo somewhat. Now, somebody had to have pressured them. But unless people speak up and speak loud, they'll just continue to do that.
Now here's the deal. And I'm not gonna hedge on this. I will never hedge anything I've ever done. I have made comments many, many times on this program and with clowns at other various rodeos that have led into jokes that refer to Obama and past presidents, whether it was Bush, Reagan, Clinton, whatever. Why is this administration, Rita, why is this president such a sacred cow?
Somebody said this morning, and I think that I will repeat this, I heard it on a different show, that Obama is a fraud. And he doesn't want people to know that he's a fraud. And so when people start saying stuff like this, it's kind of like, well, let's do the distraction thing so it takes away from everything, because if I were actually exposed for what I am and what I know and what I've done, they would find out that I'm not the real thing.
I agree with
believe
that. I agree with that. But, you know, I will say this, that whether it's freedom of expression on a television show, whether it's freedom of expression on a cartoon caricature of Obama, of which there's been many that have been very negative against him, whether it's a freedom of expression in a newspaper article, whatever the case might be, that's okay. Bill Maher is a great example. Look at that man as to what he's done to hate conservatives on his television show. But all of a sudden, because a rodeo clown dons a Obama mask and uses it as part of the performance, this man is being absolutely trampled by the media, the liberal media, and the NAACP calling for and demanding the Department of Justice and Secret Service get involved. Rita, this is above and beyond the pale.
Well, and that's what's really sad, and this is why we need to be reminding people that the Bill of Rights guarantees freedom of speech. And that's what should be upheld, no matter what we think of that person's opinion. Without that free kind of speech, we are no longer a free country. And this is what's happened, is they've taken over and decided they're going to be the speech police. And when it suits them, they'll come after somebody, and when it's against somebody else, it's kind of like, oh, go ahead and do it. We don't care if you try to destroy them or not.
Well, what I'm really concerned about is little things that are fingers out of the pie of this problem. Let me read to you this. This morning, this was posted by Katie McHugh of the Daily Caller, and I called the Daily Caller back in Washington to get updates on this. But the Washington Times has reported that the Missouri Rodeo Clown Association has been sentenced to sensitivity training. Rita, at that juncture, I'm going to throw my hands up in the air and say, as an announcer, and I have been for 43 years in the PRCA, and as a member of professional rodeo, if somebody came up to me and said, you have to attend sensitivity training, I would say not only no, but heck no. I'm not going to be having my freedom of speech trampled by sensitivity training to fall in lockstep with a liberalized thought.
Well, and that's why I think that a protest is necessary here. There needs to be all those people back there and anywhere else making a big stink about it, showing what a stupid thing has happened with them trying to make a big deal about this. I was under the opinion that rodeo clowns were supposed to be entertainment. And what's wrong with that? I mean, I just don't think that he was out of line at all in what he did. And
what is the difference, Rita? What is the difference from the years and years and years that Bob Hope was on television, and part of his repartee was always to get on and at least give 12 to 13 minutes of political humor and political jokes against the reigning presidency?
It's just that people were smart in those days, and they said that was a joke, and they went on with it. We've got a president who the people around him and him have such thin skin that they're just looking for a reason to take somebody to task.
I agree.
And
caller,
it's ridiculous.
We have a caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb and Rita. Let me make a couple of statements, and then we'll hang up so Rita can address that. This doesn't really come from Obama, in my opinion. It's coming from the powers that be behind him, which is trying to silence Zeb Bell and anybody else that is going to go against the Muslims or against the Democrats. So what I did was I went to the thesaurus, looked up the word intimidation, and under that it says threats, pressure, bullying, fear, terrorism, coercion. And we are being coerced or threatened or terrorized into keeping our mouth shut and letting the status quo and the powers that be steamroll us. What's your thoughts on that?
Boy, I'll tell you what, I want to say to that gentleman that called in, that was very, very well done, very articulate, and very well thought out. Rita, go ahead and respond.
He's absolutely right, and that's why we have lost our freedom of speech in this country, and people need to stand up and say, no more. We're not going to put up with this.
Well, Rita, I can remember vividly, and I want to say this on behalf of where I stand at rodeos and have stood at rodeos all across this country and Canada, and have seen during the Bill Clinton years, there were quite a few jokes made about Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. The same humor was purveyed against Bill as was purveyed somewhat over against Obama back at this Missouri State Fair and Rodeo. Why? I'll go back to the original question. Why is the NAACP and also the Justice Department and, of course, the Secret Service, now they're being called into play because this president is a mulatto president. He's not a black African American. He is a mulatto president from both white and black blood mixed. Why is he such a sacred cow? I'll ask that question again.
Well, I think they're just looking for any reason that they can to cry foul, and they're saying it's racial and it's everything else, and that's disrespectful for the president, and they never stood up for it against any other president.
You know, have you ever heard Ed Schultz?
Oh, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know who he is.
A very vile, very corpulent kind of a fat man big mouth on MSNBC, and absolutely hates conservatives. Have you ever heard anything he said be basically stymied by conservatives to the point where they called the Justice Department or the Secret Service?
No, and you know, if you were going to shut down people's freedom of speech, we'd be doing it all the time. And the deal is that people can say what they want to. Whether they agree with us or not, we all still have the right to say what we want. And when those rights are taken away from us, we're under the wrong kind of rule.
Now, you said something earlier that I said yesterday on the program, that this is nothing more than another smokescreen, if you will, very, very carefully orchestrated to take the national attention away from the real problems of the IRS, Lois Lerner, etc., the Benghazi problem, which still is completely out of hand and nobody has been brought to justice, the rights of our freedom of speech, nobody is saying anything about that. They're coming up against Tuffy Gesling from Missouri, a rodeo clown, and saying that all hell and damnation should break out on him instead of really looking at the real issues that this president's involved in.
Well, I think he's the collateral damage in this battle, and the problem is that every one of those incidents that you mentioned, there's more coming out every day. Besides the fact that there is huge problems in the Middle East, Egypt to be the one at the top of the list, and what has happened over there, and how they are so unhappy with Obama and helping to get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood, because they had to have been behind even getting rid of the president then, and that's all reflective back, and they're saying, hey, this is Obama's thing. He was at the helm of this. He wanted him to be president, and then when he found out what was going on, it was kind of like, oh, wait a minute, we better back up here. So now he's got everybody mad at him, and there's a lot of heat, and it's directed at the Obama administration. And so I think when this thing came up, it was like, oh, gifts from heaven. We can just pounce on this, and this will be the topic of the day. And guess what? It is.
Well, it is.
About all the people that died in Egypt over the last 2 days.
Absolutely. Over 525 lives have been lost because of the Muslim Brotherhood trying to regain power in Egypt. And that leads me to another segment of very poor journalism today. Journalists, if you want to call them that, on ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever, they're not doing their job. They're in bed with Obama. They're in bed with his politics and his ideology. And we're not hearing everything that's going on that's very disruptive against the American people and our Constitution. And they're spending more time trying to bring out into the limelight a gentleman by the name of Tuffy Gesling, rodeo clown, and Mark Ficken, the announcer at that event. He has already resigned his position as president of the Missouri Rodeo Cowboys Association. And listen, Rita, he's very worried that the liberal NAACP is going to go after him and lose his job as superintendent of the Boonville School District. They are ruining lives over this.
Well, they are, and what will happen is, in the end, it'll end up in court if they'll let it go that far. And I would let it go to court, and they could prove that he had had every right to say what he said, even though the rodeo announcer guy may not have had the mask on and said anything. They will find out that he could do what he wanted, and they have no right to take away his job as a school superintendent or anything else. But it will be long, hard battle, and it will be bloody, and there will be tons of collateral damage, and it will be a mess. But that's what the Obama administration wants, is just make it a big enough mess that they have to start trying to clean it up and work on it, and they won't be paying attention to what's going on here.
I agree. Rita, we've got to take a quick break and have an update on the weather with MichaelRogersWeather.com. We'll be right back. Here's Michael.
Hey, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sun, hot, smoke. For a high today of about, I'm going to say 100. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 101. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 98. But it's going to be sunny. It's going to be hot. That smoke's going to be around. There are 9 active wildfires in the state of Idaho as we speak. So enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you've got.
Thank you, Michael. MichaelRogersWeather.com. Rita, what would you say if you found out that during the bin Laden raid on that compound and the eventual shooting and killing of bin Laden, that the president really wasn't in the Situation Room all the time like we thought he was? He really wasn't sitting there huddled up with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and other staff members. He really wasn't in the room all that long, just long enough to have a photographer shoot their picture. But in essence, the President of the United States was in a downstairs room at the White House playing a card game called Spades with quite a few other members of the staff.
Well, that just goes to prove that he wasn't all that excited about getting bin Laden, possibly because he sympathizes with the people that he represents, which is the Muslims. Now, let me make one other contrast to this. I have a picture in front of me, and it's the picture we all saw when they showed everybody in the Situation Room at the time that bin Laden was taken down. Mm-hmm. You see Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and the I guess it's probably the military man who's the Joint Chiefs of Staff guy.
Right.
Anyway, all of them are sitting at this big table. They all have laptop computers in front of them. They're monitoring it. They're watching it. President Obama is sitting on a little folding chair over in the corner, back away from it. He has no computer. He was not even available if he needed to make a decision. And being the military chief in charge, they couldn't even turn to him and say, okay, what do we need to advise next, or what do we need to say? Somebody have to jump up and run down to the card party and say, hey, wait a minute, this is what's happening, tell us what we should do, and then they have to run back instead of him being there present. This is what this president has done. He has been absent from all of the important stuff. He's not presidential. I don't think he wants to be presidential. I don't think he wants to be president.
All right, we have a caller with a question. Quickly, I've only got 2 minutes left. Go fast.
Yes, you say he's a mulatto. That's true. But he darn sure leans to the black people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He don't like the white race.
Well, I would like somebody to give me a definition. I'm going to be very blunt here. If this offends somebody, that's fine. Somebody, please describe and explain to me what the terminology African American means. Let's say that you're white, like Ernie Els or Gary Player on the PGA golf tournament. They're from Africa and they're white. And if they moved here to the United States, wouldn't they, if they adopted United States citizenship, wouldn't they be African Americans?
I think so.
There is no such thing as a color with African Americans. The three races of mankind are Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid. Why do we have to give a special connotation and a special name to something that really doesn't exist?
That's right. They've been Negroes all my life.
That's right. And it's not a N-word connotation. It's a very well-used word.
No, absolutely not.
I appreciate your call, Fred. I got to get back to Rita. I'm almost out of time. Rita, I would like you to quickly respond to what I just said, because I am not going to back up. I'm going to stand behind my last verbiage.
when people say they're African American or Mexican American or whatever other American, they're just saying we're going to put a hyphen behind it, which means that we're divisive.
Yeah, there
they
you
have
go.
no intention. When they say I'm an American, they are truly glad to be Americans, and they want to be Americans. Because when you put the other in front of them, it's saying, I don't really want to be American.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think, honestly, real quick, short answer on this, I am almost out of time. What do you think is going to happen to this kind of a cancerous amoebic cell that has grown and grown and grown over the last couple of days? What do you think is going to happen over this rodeo clown, the story, and the NAACP?
Well, actually, I think after it makes its rounds on the political scene and if something else comes up so that we can have a diversion, they'll probably drop it and they'll make amends and everything will be okay, and they'll say, you know, Mr. Rodeo Clown, don't come to this rodeo next year, but after next year we'll just ease you back in, and that way we can keep everybody happy. And I don't think that it's going to be a big deal at all.
I hope not. Rita, real quick, 3rd Annual Idaho Liberty Summit, August 16th and 17th, this weekend, Friday and Saturday, Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center. Take pride in what America was and can be again. Contact Moon and Associates in Rupert, 436-3714, or you over at Ramsey Heating and Electric. I hope you have a very successful weekend.
Okay, thanks, Zeb. Appreciate it. We'll see you.
God bless. Thank you, Rita Ramsey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Rita Ramsey, and all your calls. Appreciate that. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. I didn't have any supper last night. I am not kidding you. I didn't have anything to eat last night except one of those little protein bars. Are you kidding me? No wonder I'm wasting away. I'm hungry. And I'm starving to death. And I know where you can go if you're hungry and starving to death, and I'm going to tell you about some of those great places right now, like Burgers, etc. Oh, boy, what a segue. 700 North Overland in Burley and 124 South Oneida in Rupert. They've got an August special, mushroom burgers after 3 p.m. for only $3.99. Add a soda and fries for an extra cost. It's delicious. You're going to love it. They got corn dogs, hot dogs, burritos, everything. At Burgers, etc., 700 North Overland in Burley and 124 South Oneida in Rupert. Let's move over now to the Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. Don't forget they've got a chicken strip salad. They've got grilled bacon ranch quesadillas, chicken bacon ranch quesadillas. Oh, they're so good. And they've got macho burritos and chimichangas, everything. It's absolutely phenomenal. At Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Head on over now to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Oh, my goodness. Friendly service, dedicated staff. You're going to love it, lunch or dinner. And you can have a relaxing meal and great music on the patio. Oh, after you've been to the fair all day, what a great way to celebrate. Sit down, relax, and listen to the music and have, of course, all the great meals right there. Everything. They got steaks, chicken, seafood, salads, everything for you at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And last but not least, let's just kind of gallop over to the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, yeah. I was talking to one of my grandsons last night. He said, famous Farmer Brown burger. Yep, gotta have them. And along with all the French fries and the special sauce and the great chicken filet sandwiches and all the different milkshakes, any flavor you want they can make. 601 East Main in Burley, the AC Drive-In. You better stop in and say howdy today to the AC Drive-In. Those people, along with many others, they'll give you what you're looking for as far as great food if you're hungry or starving to death.
You know, I didn't have breakfast.
I didn't have supper.
What?
I didn't have supper, and I had, again, for breakfast, a bowl of bran flakes.
Well, I hate to inform you this, but it is our coworker Christy's birthday today.
Oh.
So, yes, everybody got a big old fat cinnamon roll.
Oh, how can you do this to me?
Oh, I do it every day. I'll even text you a picture.
Oh, probably with a great big tooth mark in it.
Oh, yes. There will be.
Cinnamon rolls are my weakness.
Oh, mine too. I absolutely love.
I can't remember where I was at. I was at some rodeo. I think it was either in California or someplace. And one of the perks of being at that rodeo, early in the morning they'd have breakfast every day, and they had cinnamon rolls the size of a Spalding football.
Oh, those are the best kind.
And they were so fresh and so soft, you know, with the frosting oozing over the top.
And the best part is when the center of the cinnamon roll is all cinnamony, sugary.
Do you eat around the edges first like I do?
I do. I save the middle for the last because that's the best part.
Me too. I got my hand in the air. Do we have a call?
We do.
Oh, quickly, I'll take it. I got 30 seconds, real fast, caller. And if you don't have a cinnamon roll, you got to hang up.
Okay, Zeb, I missed the last call. I was busy. As far as the lawsuit against the clown, this black organization has taken the opportunity to get even with white people, like you and myself, and we had nothing to do with what happened to them 100 years ago or 150 years ago, and this is payback time. That's the root of it.
You know, I'm not opposed to that statement at all. As a matter of fact, I think this is kind of a we're going to get you now type attitude, and I don't disagree with that. Tony, thank you again for calling back. I got to get ready for the news. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
We are going to take a little break for the news. Coming up next hour, we've got on Thursdays, like I said, we've got all these different segments. At 10:06, we're going to be talking to Lee's Furniture and then Making Sense with Your Money with Scott Martin, Vicky's Country Gardens at 10:20, and then at 10:30 this morning, we're hoping to be able to place a call to my old friend, emphasis on the word old, Randy Munns, clown for the Cache County Fair and Rodeo, and we're going to talk to him for a little bit. So stay tuned. I'll be back in 6. Welcome back. Hello. How are you? Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 great locations serving you, and, of course, some of our great advertisers, too, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service 734-6969. We're going to be running over to Lee's in just a moment, well, figuratively. I want to tell you right now about the Chadwick Sports Grill. Oh, that is a good place to eat. 139 West Main in Burley. Fill you up. You're going to love it. And today, the senior citizen special for only $5.95 is lasagna with garlic toast and super salad. You're going to love it. Man, it's good food. Great people. What an atmosphere. At the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Talking about atmosphere and nice people, well, you've also got to include our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And right now, here is the Maine #1 entrepreneur, Mr. Brent Lee.
Well, good morning, Zeb, and happy Fair Days to you.
Thank you, sir. Have you been over to the Cache County Fair yet?
I've driven by several times, but I'm going to take the grandchildren this afternoon.
Well, good. I'll look forward to seeing you over there, and tell us what's going on with your blazing hot sale items over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More.
Thank you. It is Fair Days, and we always have some wonderful specials during this occasion, and what a great time of year. In particular, I'd like to just mention right now that we're getting in that window of time, kind of closing in on us, where it's time to get your outdoor carpet completed before the weather turns. And we've got a great selection of outdoor turf and outdoor variety types of carpet in different colors. And so come in now, and we can get that completed before the weather turns and really spruce out the outdoor portion of your home as well as the indoors. And then let me share with you, too, a special department that we have in our store, and when people come in and they see this department, oftentimes they'll say, "Wow, are you sure? That is amazing." So with that introduction, it's our extreme value rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a particular department, and it's so full that we have those sofas actually climbing up the wall, which I know you've seen, and we have sofas featured on the wall. And in this extreme value room, what we do is we make special purchases of what we call married fabric and frames. And what they do is they produce these sofas especially for us so that we can give you a quality sofa, love seat, sectional, at a very reduced price. And here's some examples. We have a great display of sofas. Every sofa on the wall is just $3.99. Take your choice.
Really?
Yeah, or add a love seat and get the sofa and the love seat for just $6.99. Now, oftentimes at these price points, you may have one selection, or it's hurry and get it before it's gone. But in this case, we have an entire department. You can take your choice of multiple color tones, frame styles, multiple choices, and they are sofa $3.99 or sofa love at $6.99. And that's part of our extreme value room collection. And then the beauty of that is you can add to it. You can put a 7-piece living room group together with a sofa, a love seat, 3 occasional tables, and then add an accessory or maybe add a pair of lamps and follow that same great value. So whether it's dining room, sofas, love seats, lamps, sectional, we have that extreme value room pricing and a wonderful department that you can come in and, gosh, that works wonderful, and it's so easy on the pocketbook.
I've got to ask a question. We have tried to stump this man with all the terminologies, and I think I've come up with another one.
Okay, great.
I know he's got his answer looming in the background someplace in the recesses of his furniture mind, but where did the terminology occasional table come from?
Occasional. Well, it's because when you go into the room, it's one of those pieces of furniture that you occasionally use. You don't sit on it. You don't use it on an everyday basis, but occasionally you'll need to go to it, pick up the magazine, pick up those things which are of occasional importance, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You know what? You're good, Lee. You are really, really good. You know that? You're reveling in this, aren't you?
That's an occasional table.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, don't stop in occasionally. Stop in right now at Lee's Furniture
right.
Floors.
Don't walk.
Yeah, that's right. And in my case, you're going to get a combination of both. But at Lee's Furniture Floors and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Stop in and see Mr. Brent Lee and the crew today. Thanks. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend, Brent. Thanks.
Yes, Zeb, and in conclusion, come in and just say, I heard it on Zeb's show. I want to do a test rest on one of your Simmons mattresses, and we're going to give them a pair of nitty-gritty dirt band tickets for the Minidoka celebration.
Just for a test rest if they mention my name.
That's right.
All right, Brett, God bless. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You better stop in. Free tickets to that nitty-gritty dirt band concert on September 21st. All you have to do is take a test rest. I guarantee you're going to love it. At Lee's Furniture Floors and More, 459 Overland in Burley. You know, we've been telling you for about the last 2 or 3 weeks about, door-to-door sales. I don't like door-to-door salesmen. I'm going to come right out and say it. I don't like these pushy kids that are going, knock, knock, who's there? Well, we represent Dish or DirecTV, and, well, we noticed this, and we can change your service to this, and we're also associated with Quality's Electronics. No, they're not. No, they're not. And I contacted Bruce Qualley, and I said, what's going on here? And he said, absolutely, if anybody says they're associated with us working door-to-door, that is a lie. I've known the Qualley family for over 30 years, and what they say is gospel. They can help you look into Dish and DirecTV to see which one's going to fit you the best, install it, and provide the best local service, and ensure your satisfaction. Work with them directly, not some little bandy rooster door-to-door salesperson. Quality's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls, 733-4910. Never will forget that kid coming by. Wow. Never mind. Anyway, right now we're going to talk about making sense with your money, and we're going to have, of course, some great representation by the name of Tim Tickner. Tim's going to be on the air with us right now at Idaho Lending Group, 1182 Eastland Drive North in Twin Falls. Telephone number 734-5626. A little bit of a testimonial. These folks helped save me and my lovely bride a lot of money on a refinance of our mortgage. They know the industry. Please contact them today. NMLS number 181777, Equal Opportunity Lender. And with that being said, here now, Mr. Tim Tickner. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Zeb.
How are you today at Idaho Lending Group?
Oh, I'm doing good. Guess I don't want to be a door-to-door salesman out of your house.
I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't suggest it at all. But I'll tell you what, I came to your house because you folks really helped save me some money. You know, Tim, what about going to the low or no down payment loan programs? Are they still available even though we're seeing interest rates start to climb again?
Well, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I think several weeks ago, probably maybe a couple months ago, we kind of talked about it, and you really can get into a house for nothing down. I know it sounds like a late night infomercial, but it really is true. So, again, I think Scott talked to you last week a little bit about probably interest rates in the market, and there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. I don't have my crystal ball in front of me, but I do look at the financial markets every single day of my life, and interest rates are definitely going to head upward. I just have no doubt about that with the Fed monetary policy that's coming down the road. So definitely it's the right time to get in and buy a house. Values are rising too. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, I don't think you're ever going to find a better time to buy or sell your home. But let's talk about zero down, Zeb.
Okay.
Several different types. Probably the most popular and probably the best loan out there right now, which we do just a ton of over in the Burley-Rupert area, is rural development loans. In the old days, it used to be called the old farm home loans. So RD allows for absolutely 100% financing. They do charge a little guarantee fee, but it's not much compared to some of the other government programs out there. So there are some income restrictions, but with a family of just two people, a husband and a wife, the income limit is $74,750. So that's pretty healthy income in the southern Idaho market. And then if you've got up to 3 children, that income can be up to $98,650. So that includes probably 90% of the folks that would be looking for an RD-type loan. All of the Mini-Cassia area is eligible for those funds. There's certain areas in Twin Falls County that are not within the Twin Falls city limits. But very easy to qualify. Income restrictions is really the only thing. We underwrite those loans through the lender that we deal with, and then it goes to RD for a final sign-off, which happens probably 98% of the time. So that is probably the best deal out there right now. And again, it's important you work with your local real estate professional to work with us so that we can tell them what kind of loan we're doing and most likely get the seller to pick up the closing costs. So you know how vitally important that is, Zeb.
Absolutely. You know,
real estate professional to get the deal put together right up front.
You know, Tim, I want to stress the fact that you and the rest of the folks over there at Idaho Lending Group, all it takes is a phone call. It's really simple, and maybe tell me if I'm stating this wrong, but I think if people would just take the time to call up and say, hello, Mr. Tickner, I've got questions. Can I qualify for this or can I qualify for that? People need to take the bull by the horns and really be on the offense and ask questions to see what they can qualify for.
Oh, absolutely. And literally, and I mean literally, with the 5-minute phone interview, we can get the very basic information we need. And with your permission, with the borrower's permission, we can pull a credit report. And we can tell you virtually instantaneously, hey, you qualified for this RD loan. Or, no, you're not quite on the RD loan, but we've got an Idaho housing program that's available to you. So absolutely, if you don't have 5 minutes out of a busy week, if you're interested in buying a home, to pick up the phone, maybe you're not that serious, but there's some great deals out there right now, and like I say, Zeb, literally 5 minutes out of your day, no pressure, no hype. We're not going to call and bug you 10,000 times to try to get you a loan. We're just here to provide professional information.
Yeah. The one thing, too, Tim, I'm sure you would agree with, is this is a great tool, knowing you and people like you at Idaho Lending Group and being able to ask questions and basically kind of get their ducks in a row, find out what their qualifications are, find out what they can do as far as what their buying limits are, and then they can just work with the realtor and everybody works together as a team on the same page.
Well, that's definitely the key, is getting the team together, and we truly are a team. We work with, all the lenders, all the realtors, And if everybody cooperates, everybody's on the same page, it's like running a football play. If the quarterback and the line are on one page, but the receivers didn't really listen in the huddle and go the other direction, you got a little bit of a train wreck. You'll fix it, but it puts you in a bit of a hole. So absolutely that's the key. And that's what we provide. We're local. I've been doing this for 25 years. I grew up in the Magic Valley. Most of the folks here at Idaho Lending Group are your local lending professionals. So that's definitely an advantage. We're not your big box, your big bank boys. We're local.
Absolutely.
We know the market. We know you.
Absolutely. I like that slogan. We know you. I like that. NMLS number 181777, Equal Opportunity Lender. We're talking to Mr. Tim Tickner with the Idaho Lending Group, 1182 Eastland Drive North in Twin Falls. A number to remember and call them. They help my situation. They can try to help you also. 734-5626. Tim, you did a great job this morning. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.
Likewise, take care.
All right, thank you much. Tim Tickner with the Idaho Lending Group in Twin Falls. Very information we all need to find out where we stand, where we qualify, what we qualify for, and get your ducks in a row. And those folks can help at Idaho Lending Group. Really nice people. Wow, let's see, where am I at here? Cache County Fair and Pro Rodeo. It's in full swing. Oh, my goodness sakes, all kinds of fun things are going on at one. Let's see, what happens here today? I want to make sure this is entertainment with the hypnotist today is going on over at the fair. And they're going to have what they call the 4-H Bowl, adult competition, followed by youth competition on the Free Stage Gazebo this afternoon. Then, don't forget the great big PRCA Rodeo kickoff tonight at 8 p.m. and tonight's family night. Tomorrow night at the rodeo will be tough enough to wear pink night, and then don't forget on Saturday night the coronation of the new queen. So they got all kinds of things going on at your Cache County Fair and Pro Rodeo. And then on Friday and Saturday at 1 o'clock, don't forget parimutuel horse racing. So lots of things to do at your Cache County Fair and Pro Rodeo for 2013. I think let's go to the phone lines. We're on a roll this morning, and let's talk gardening with Vicky's Country Gardens. Good morning, Miss Vicky. How are you?
I'm just fine, Zeb. How are you doing this nice, breezy morning?
I am hot. I am hungry. I am sick of voles. I am sick of everything that's going on outside that wants to bite me, sting me, or whatever. And we've got some questions for you regarding gardening, okay?
All right.
Here you go. And I can see you putting on your Swami hat as you're ready to answer these. This lady writes in and says, how do I keep everything alive? Can you possibly overwater? It's hot out there.
Yes, you can overwater when it's hot, especially if you've got like weed mat down, you've got bark or rock or things like that over the top of your plants. They're not drying out as fast as you think they are. Check the dirt. Check the soil around your plants before you water. If they're still moist, don't, just because it's hot, don't just keep pouring water on them. It's easier to let them dry just a little bit, like tomatoes and that will start to ripen now if you'll start backing the water off and drying them up a little bit.
Okay.
So, I know it's fair time and everybody's in a panic, so, either check them in the evening and water them at night and when you're at home and let it go, or go out and check them in the morning first thing before you go to the fair. If they need a drink, give them a drink at that point in time and then let them go for the day. But yeah, just because it's hot, you don't have to water them 2-3 times a day.
Now, this lady writes in and she says, I've got pumpkins and zucchini and they're running wild. They're all over the place. But on the leaves, there's little bitty holes all over the leaves. What's causing these holes?
Well, we've got an awful lot of grasshoppers out there right now, and grasshoppers are they're a chewing insect, and so consequently they're the ones, those and earwigs and that are the ones that are hitting and chewing holes in the leaves. You can use diatomaceous earth on them, which is the all-natural situation that will stop them, or you can actually lift the vines up and put an insecticide granule down on the ground. You can dust with 7 dust, which will stop them from eating. All of those things will work, but right now it's usually grasshoppers and earwigs that are chewing the holes in them.
Okay. Now, this lady is growing pumpkins for Halloween later on this fall, and she says, I've got a problem. Some of my pumpkins aren't growing. They're turning yellow and they're croaking. They're dying. Why?
You may have gotten the vines too wet. You may have some fungus going, so I recommend watch your watering on them. They need water, but they don't need to be drowned. And start using a good fungicide on them. Hit them with some daconil or something like that of an evening. Do it about once every 7 days for a while, and see if that doesn't start things to stay on. A lot of times your fruit, your blooms, and things like that will fall off if there is a little bit of a fungus going on the plant because it's a little bit sick, so therefore it doesn't want to support the fruit that it's putting on, so it just kind of drops it off.
Mm-hmm.
But I would start with a fungicide on that and then give them some good fertilizer.
Boy, I tell you what. And you said something one time, and me being not really knowledgeable about pumpkins like I should be, didn't you say that you've got to make a decision as to the good, the bad, and the ugly, who lives and who dies?
Exactly. If you want the large pumpkins and you've got great big vines and you've got lots of blooms and you've got lots of pumpkins setting on, just remember that you're going to have smaller pumpkins because of the fact that the plant is having to support too many to really make a large pumpkin. So pick 2 or 3 of your bigger, better, earlier ones that are doing really well, and then start pinching blooms and cutting your vines back and taking the other pumpkins off.
All right,
to force the energy to make them the big ones.
All right. Now, last question. This lady says, can I still plant flowers, shrubs, and trees, or is it too doggone hot?
It's really kind of hot right now. I would suggest give this a couple of 3 weeks to kind of drop us back into the 80s. And then it's a great time to start planting again. You can do perennials, you can do shrubs, you can do trees. You just have to know how to take care of them. You can't just drown them because you want them damp, but you don't want them overly done. And when it's too hot, a lot of times people get them way too hot, get them way too wet. Or they plant them and leave on vacation and come back 2 weeks later and they're dead because they didn't get any water. So it's kind of a crucial time. You want to be home. You want to be there to monitor and take care of things. But, you can still plant now. But with this 90 degree in that, I would wait another couple of weeks and see if we don't drop into the 80s, a little cooler nights, and your plants will just do better.
All right. Now, over at Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, you've got all the Fertilome products. Tell us real quick about that.
We do have all the Fertilome products. We have the products that will get rid of the grasshoppers and the earwigs. Aphids are a problem. We've got the 7 sprays. We've got the dust. We've got fertilizers. We've got the grass killer to kill the grass that's coming up in your flowers. You don't want to kill the flowers, so spray it with the grass killer that'll kill the grass and not the flowers. We've got just about everything you need. And if you've got problems, bring us a sample of your problem, and we'll diagnose it and tell you what you need.
Absolutely, the gardening expert, Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. And by the way, any specials this week, real fast?
We do have our roses on 25% off, and all of our perennials are 20% off right now. So it's a good time if you're thinking about putting some in, it's a good time to get them going. Daylilies are blooming really pretty, so you can see the colors right now. If you're doing landscaping, we've got rock and bark and all of the stuff to do it with. So as soon as the fair is over, I'm sure everybody will get back into that gardening thing, and we'll be ready for you.
All right. Lovely lady, very, very smartly when it comes to gardening. Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, or call 833, that's the zip code, 438-5663. Boy, am I alert this morning, huh?
There you go.
All right. I gotta. You better bring over some of that bug spray and apply it to me. Have a good day, Miss Vicky.
All right, thanks, Deb.
All right, take care. I don't know why in the world I started giving the zip code, Paul, Idaho, 83347. Yeah, dipstick, read the right copy. Okay. In just a moment, we're going to send it back over to our main studios at KBAR for an update and a break at the bottom of the hour. But don't forget, too, the 3rd Annual Idaho Liberty Summit coming up this Friday and Saturday at the Best Western Burleana Convention Center. And you can take pride in what America was and can be again. This event sponsored by the Idaho Tea Party, and please call Moon & Associates at 436-3714 to register, or call Ramsey Heating and Electric. They can help you. It's going to be a great event. Everybody should plan to be in attendance. We'll be back in just a moment after this notice, and our guest, I think hopefully on the air, Randy Munns. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I want to tell you that we've had a lot of people call me and very great concerns regarding Obamacare and the implementation coming up of full Obamacare towards later this fall. Once again, next Monday, we're going to be having Dr. Elena George from Atlanta, Georgia on our program discussing and being disgusted with the implementation of Obamacare, so don't miss that. That's coming up this next Monday. Hey, don't forget, next week we're going to be down at the Box Elder County Fair and Golden Spike Rodeo in Tremont, Utah. Blue Jeans and Country Dreams, August 19th through the 24th. Holy man, they're going to have fun. They are going to have a ripping good time with team branding and kids scramble on Tuesday, August 20th. Then on August 21st at 8 p.m., Wednesday next week, Bulls, Broncs, and Barrels. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the big PRCA Golden Spike Rodeo is going to take place August 22nd through the 24th. Don't you miss it. Just down the road a little bit, Tremont in Utah. The Box Elder County Fair and Golden Spike Rodeo, Blue Jeans and Country Dreams. I'm going to check with Gina right now to see if we have my old buddy on the phone. Emphasis on the word old. Is Randy Munns there?
Yes, he is.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, live and direct from the front porch of the Tremont and Garland Old Center for Retired Clowns, Randy Munns. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, my friend. How are you today?
It's been a long time since I've had a chance to ballyhoo with you. How you been?
Really good. Busy. Probably too good for me, Zeb.
I understand you've been on a 3-week camping trip in Colorado. What kind of hard life is that?
Well, you know, we got rodeos on weekends, and you just go camping in between.
Man, you're living the good life.
We're working for Honeycutt there in Breckenridge, Colorado, on a series of rodeos.
Well, good for you. Now, you're going to be in Burley tonight for the first performance of the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo. How many years have you been coming here to ballyhoo with me?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I can't count that far. More than it's on our fingers and toes, probably. Since in the 80s.
Well, now, what kind of specialty acts can we kind of tell people about that you're going to have here at Cassia County Fair and Rodeo?
Well, you know what, this year's app, we got a brand new deal. You watched the Amazing Race on TV, and goes on, we're going to have an amazing race right there at the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo.
Really?
Men against the women. You're just going to have to wait. It's going to be a surprise.
Okay.
Amazing outhouse race. We'll put it at that.
Amazing outhouse race?
Well, that's kind of what I said. You're going to have to see.
You know, Randy, while I've got you on the phone, you've been a rodeo clown for, well, see, when did God invent dirt? I can't remember. But you've been around for a long, long time, and you've seen a lot of changes and transitions. What about the change in the rodeo atmosphere and the crowds? Anything you want to comment on?
You know, people are, we have more people that are more politically, interested in what goes on, and kind of the good old days are gone, and we have to, go with the flow to keep people entertained. There's been some transitions and some of the things you can do and you can't do, but, primarily people come to have a good time and be entertained, and that's what we're in the business for.
Randy, unfortunately, and I want you to comment on this because we've been doing quite a bit of coverage on this story. Unfortunately, Tuffy Gesling back in Missouri did something that really has been done thousands of times before, but it seems like with this administration there's a national furor over him using an Obama mask during the bull riding event. And I'm going to be very open and honest. You and I have made comments, and you've done the same thing with masks of Bill Clinton, Hillary, George W. Bush, etc. Why do you think there's been such a furor over Obama's mask being used?
Oh, it's a political deal, over what it is, Deb. As you said, you and I have done that for years on and off, but everybody has their own views and their own beliefs politically like that, and their personal basis you can do that, but on a national or in a public way, you can't really condemn the President of the United States, that position in like that. People depend on that position to take care of them, and if you offend them, and then you get yourself in trouble. It's just like our flag in our country. There's some things you can do, and most of the time you can't. You have to respect them with very, very utmost respect and regard.
Yeah, but what's the difference, though, Randy, between a late-night entertainer or a primetime comedy routine or a cartoonist in the newspaper or a pundit on the radio? Why can they get away with making a remark in a jocular fashion, a little humor, and you and I can't?
That's a really tough question, Zeb. I don't know that you realistically, there's a correct answer for that. Wrong place at the wrong time, such as that. Just picked up nationally like that and probably overdone it. I mean, you can kind of peck at the hand that feeds you, but you sure don't want to bite it.
All right. Now, what about the crowds at Burley? They always seem to just love Randy Munns.
Yeah, our crowds are very, very open-minded, and we get along fine with them guys. That's a good, hard-working bunch, and the people come for years and years, and they come for a celebration and do a lot of reunions and that, and so they just go with the flow.
You still got your little dog?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll probably be up tonight, yeah. Chip the Lion, he'll be there.
All right. Now, anything else you want to tell the folks while you're on the radio program about working the Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo?
Oh, great fun, great time. Don't dare miss it. Come and see all the fair, the animals, the show. We're going to have horse races, There's no place I go you can more entertainment for the buck where you can get a big kick out of it. Just make sure you're there. Don't miss it. Deb and I will be on front page, ready to go.
Well, now, one thing about you're an amazing person at your age that you're still able to crawl your short, chubby, fat little body into that barrel. I think that's the eighth wonder of the world, as old as you are.
Maybe so, but you know what? I've had some parts fixed, and I'm ready to go. I've been healthy and going all summer, and look at you, Zeb. You've hobbled up around for longer than I have, and you're still going, so we're a pair, aren't we?
I'll tell you what, a set of bookends that a lot of people wouldn't put any books in between. They wouldn't trust them. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
We come to have fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, we will see you in a matter of hours right there at the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo. Randy Munns and his lovely wife, Linda, a great family. Thank you so much for taking time to come on our program this morning.
You bet. Appreciate the call and wish everybody well up there. We'll see you this afternoon, this evening. Thanks a lot.
All right, Randy, take care. One of my dearest friends in the rodeo business, Randy Munns from Garland, Utah, and we'll be having him on the program tonight at the Cassia County Fair and Pro Rodeo. Yeah, what was that, Deanne? We haven't heard from the other segment that was going to be on the air this morning? Oh, well, we'll just wait and see if they call in. Calls are welcome and appreciated, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd really appreciate it if you give me a call, because we've got kind of an open forum. We were notified this morning that we might have a special segment for a benefit that they were looking to put on my program this morning. And if they're still interested, there's still time to give us a call. We'd love to have that on the air. Calls are welcome. Give me a call, 436-2244. By the way, President Obama is trying to get more money for a school program called Connect Ed. It's an education program. And guess who's gonna pay for this program? Well, yes, you and I. Isn't that great? I think it's fantastic that you and I are going to feel so proud that we are going to be coerced, or maybe that's not a good word. Maybe I should say our arms are going to be twisted so that we have to pay for this. And you know how it's going to be paid for? Oh, gee. We're going to have a surcharge put on our cell phone bill. Yes, we are. And President Obama and his ideologues have gone to the FCC, and they're twisting the FCC's arms into saying, would you please implement this extra charge or tax on people's cell phone bills so that we can take the money and fund a program called Connect Ed? I got to ask Gina about this because Aren't you just a little sick and tired of all these little taxes, these little surcharges that really you didn't have the opportunity as a consumer to say no?
Yeah, I'm not happy about it at all.
I'm sick and tired of this. Little by little, they're just coming into our lives and they're saying, yes, you will pay for this. Yes, you're going to take care of this. Yes, we're going to have the FCC just go ahead and tack a surcharge on. You don't have anything to say about it. Just pay it and support our program. What happened to America?
Well, let's see here. As a mother with a child in the education system, yeah, I really do kind of think I have a say. I really do.
Evidently not, though, when they're just going to tell you that you will do this. We have a caller? Okay, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I've been away from the radio for a while, so I haven't been able to listen to you much. But the one thing I did detect, that name Goober sounds real familiar.
Yes.
And I can't see in any way that would offend anyone. I really don't.
What would offend anyone? I'm not following where you're at, Keith.
Well, with that clown.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. And, it's kind of personal for you because you affectionately use that word.
well, wait a minute. I want to just reiterate what the clown had done in Missouri. I didn't find anything offensive. He didn't do or say anything that was any different than numerous clowns have used in the arena, not only representing this president, but also previous presidents. And I'm very adamant that I think the NAACP and the asking for an inquisition with the Secret Service and the Department of Justice is absolutely asinine and uncalled for, and I, for one, will not weaken. I'm not going to back up and be allowed to have these people walk over us. I think it's time to take a stand and tell them this is beyond the pale.
But what I don't understand, where in the world is the word goober offensive to anyone?
Well, wait a minute. The word goober, I don't know where you're getting this. It's not a part of the story. It's not a part of the story as far as any information I have. Goober is in reference to a peanut, and quite frankly, goober is the nickname I gave my wife.
I know.
Uh-huh.
But I heard somewhere where they took offense at it on that rodeo thing, that he had mentioned that.
Well,
name.
There are so many things connected to this story with Tuffy Gesling out of Missouri that absolutely have been blown completely out of proportion. They have destroyed his life. They've destroyed Mark Ficken's life, the announcer at that event. They've destroyed the Missouri State Fair. And now the NAACP wants blood. They're like sharks in the water. They're going to go after now Eric Holder with the Department of Justice. They're going after now with the Inquisition of the Secret Service. All of this over a mask that you can buy in any store. You can wear one on Halloween, whatever, of the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama. I guess he's a sacred cow that we can't make fun of like they did other presidents in the past.
Yes, and I understand that. But the thing that I just want to make very clear is that we love Goober.
Okay. God bless you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks much. Have a good day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Time for a quick weather update with MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Hey, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sun, hot, smoke. You look for a high today of about, I'm going to say 100. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 101. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit 98. But it's going to be sunny. It's going to be hot. And that smoke's going to be around. There are 9 active wildfires in the state of Idaho as we speak. So enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you've got.
Thank you, Michael. MichaelRogersWeather.com. And Gina, I think, just had a call. And good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, I've invited all of the local sheriffs to the summit this weekend. Of course, Jay Eward, Tom Carter from Twin, Doug McFall from Jerome, Kevin Ellis from Lincoln County, Sheriff Schnarr from Minidoka. And I hadn't called Gooding County. I hadn't got that far yet. But I know McFall and Carter will not be able to come, but they're very amenable to their position as sheriffs who will protect the constituencies inside the county, and they do believe that there's possibilities of this type of thing happening.
Absolutely.
So hopefully some of these guys will show up, and you'll, like we spoke about, have a really good program with all of them on there and be great, I think.
One thing I would appreciate is, I'll have you write this down, and I hope Rita Ramsey's still listening too. Next Monday at about 10:40, I'd appreciate an update on how the summit went and what was accomplished. So put that down and give me a call, okay?
You bet, and, Rita's better at that probably than I, and so, yes, we will be in touch, and thank you.
All right, Randy, thank you kindly. I appreciate it. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. I'm waiting for you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Dan Gammon. How are you today?
Dan, I'm good. I understand. My wife just handed me a note and said you were going to be calling in. Dan, I have no clue what the subject matter is or what happened, so fill me in as to what we're doing here this morning.
You betcha. I appreciate the time that you can have me on here. I am the president of the 4-H Leaders Council, and we've been working out here at the Cache County Fair this year. We had an incident come up here a couple of evenings ago. Jacob Brown, a young man bringing out a 1,218-pound steer, was just preparing him for weigh-in. And as he was just getting ready to bring him across the scales, he, as you can imagine, hit a cow pie, went down, and the steer came up and landed on Jacob's back.
Oh, no.
And we're happy that Jacob is doing well. He ended up taking a short flight up to Boise. The doctors looked him over. He's ended up breaking a number of ribs. I believe he's got 7 broken ribs and a bruised lung. We've got good news. We think that he may be released from the hospital, perhaps even this afternoon, but he's kind of had a run of bad luck here. He comes from an excellent family. He's one of 5 kids, the youngest of 5. His parents have been longtime supporters of the fair and the 4-H program. They've done quite a bit in the area, in the community as well. And just based on that and based on the run of bad luck, we're trying to support them and their family and the medical expenses associated with that. And we are inviting people to donate towards those medical expenses if they are able to.
Dan, let me
pop booth down at the north end of the food exhibitors, and we've set up a donation bucket there. If people are willing and able to, we'd appreciate the donations there. Donations can also be made at the fair booth office as well.
All right.
But we're appreciative of them and their support, and we'd like to be able to help them and give back to them just a little bit as well.
Dan, listen to me just a second. What I will do, and I'm going to ask you to write this up in very short form, bring it up to the announcer's stand tonight at the Cache County Fair and Rodeo, and I will hit it intermittently during the performance tonight, and then also I'll hit it again next week on my program, okay?
You're great. Appreciate it, Zeb. Appreciate your support out here at the fair, and we invite everyone out. Come out and join us out here. We'll have a great auction Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, and again, hit that pop booth for our fundraiser for the 4-H program as well. And we look forward to seeing everybody out here.
Hey, Dan, before you go, I want to ask you a couple other questions. Now, you're the president of the 4-H Leaders Council. What about 4-H? Has it diminished? Is it at a status quo? Is it growing? What's the status?
It's exciting. As we've been seeing kids come through the shows this year, the program is as strong and as good as ever. We've got excellent representation all across from 4-H as young as 8 years of age and on up to 18. Obviously, there's some participation with the FFA, young men and young women across the county, but our numbers are as strong as ever, and it's exciting to see all the younger kids that are looking up to their older brothers and sisters and friends, and we're seeing good growth in the program. We're always looking for good leaders within the 4-H program as well, so if anyone is interested, I'd be more than happy to answer their questions. Rosie Davids is the 4-H leader in the Extension office, and she's also looking for good leaders and people willing to help out their their youth in their own home as well as friends and neighbors.
Well, now, tell me this, since I was in 4-H, which was when we still circled the wagons at night, there's been a lot more of an increase of diversified and different projects. Isn't that right?
That is true. And there's projects both in the show ring as well as arts and crafts, and there's just a myriad of projects. I'm familiar with a couple of them that have just recently been started here. And if someone is looking for any type of a project, whether it be livestock-oriented or arts and crafts, leather work, embroidery, whatever they have an interest in, we can identify the opportunity for them to present that at the fair and be judged by our 4-H judges.
You know, Dan, I think we went through a stage in this country, and hopefully it's over, to where people, when they looked at 4-H and they looked at FFA, they kind of thought it was hokey. And for some reason, people kind of look down their noses at people involved in agriculture. But 4-H and FFA is oh so much more today, isn't it?
You know, the lessons that are taught, the values that are instilled in the youth, the work ethic, there's so many different things that it has to offer, and they are time-tested, and we are happy to be a part of the program, and we're raising good quality youth in Cassia County and the surrounding areas. Obviously, you've got a wide-reaching listening population. No matter where you go, the youth are excellent. We're going to be in good hands.
All right. Now, just wrap it up one more time about this aiding and assisting young Jacob Brown from his injuries. Tell everybody where to go and how they can contribute.
You bet. There are signs posted around the Cassia County Fair. It's got his picture of him showing his steer. There's a description on those signs, so keep your eye out for them. They will direct you to the 4-H pop booth, where we are selling drinks. It's a hot day, and come on out and buy some drinks. And while you're there, there's a 5-gallon bucket there that's got his picture on the front. And obviously, anything that someone would like to contribute, just drop it in the bucket there, and we will make sure that the Browns receive that for Jacob's medical bills.
All right. You be sure and get that information to me if you would, Dan. God bless you for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Zeb. Appreciate your support as well.
All right, sir. Have a great day at the Cassia County Fair.
Thank you.
President of the 4-H Leaders Council, Dan Gammons, and it was really nice to have him on the air this morning, and I want to thank Deanne here and Gino over at the station for getting him on the air. Have time for a couple more calls. Give me a jingle, 436-2244-1866-927-4587. Hey, don't forget the best tires for your vehicles are at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Don't forget they've got the best in brake service, the very best, professionally trained technicians, over 30 years experience. Don't forget they've got the best in shocks and struts. Don't forget they've got the best in front end alignments and batteries. But you know what? Don't forget they've got the best in people. They've got the best in people taking care of you. That's a fact. Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike in Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Lane and Rupert, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and our old buddy Randy on Overland and Burley. Great people, great products, absolutely for your driving safety. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I was listening to a late-night talk show the other night, and they had interviewed some congressmen about where they were going to get the funding to pay for all of this money that Obama's spending. And several of them made the same comment that we have all this public land we can sell to China and some of the Middle Eastern countries that are interested. Now, isn't that a food for thought?
No, it's scary food for thought, Adrian, because I am more than pessimistic that this administration will result to stooping to any level to garner money through taxation, forced taxation, or any kind of encumbrance to the American public, including selling off America's treasures. I am very concerned.
Well, and yes, people don't realize that Yosemite and Yellowstone are already dictated by the UN and have been for many, many years, and how many more we don't know.
That's exactly right. You know, the proof is in the pudding, and the purchases of land and the garnering of various very prestigious Idaho and American landmarks right next door to our state, of course, Yellowstone National Park. I don't think people realize how insidious some of the sale of America could be to China or any other country.
No, they have no clue, but they better wake up.
Amen. And thank you for your call. God bless and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice lady right there. Yeah, we are literally watching politicians and various groups within this administration try to talk to and visit with other countries about, hey, you want to buy this? It's for sale. We'll sell you America. Unbelievable. I've been blessed on this program, and I mean that, to have the best in sponsors and the best in guests and everything else. And as I said, next week is going to be a jam-up week up until I have to leave on Wednesday. I'm going to be leaving Wednesday after the program. I've got another rodeo run to go on. And the lovely Sharon Hardy Mills is going to be working with, as a team, Gina Jameson, and they're going to team up and do the program next Thursday. But up until that point, we have some really good guests that are going to be on the program all of next week. And I'm sure they'll carry the ball for me on Thursday of next week, too. It's a busy day, and they're going to be quarterbacking the whole thing. Gina, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend and kind of take care, stay cool, and don't let the weather frisbee you to the point where you just want to sit down and say, I've had it and I'm not going to do anymore.
You know, I like the warm weather as long as I stay in the shade, but I really do enjoy the warm weather. And what I'm really enjoying is watching my garden grow.
You know, and you can see that.
In the corn, seriously, my corn is taller than I am now. That's actually taller than my brother. It's huge.
My wife and I like to sit, and you've been by my place. We've got a great big old bench in front of my barn, and we sit in front of my barn looking south and right to the garden. And I swear to you, excuse me, you can see the corn growing.
I got to ask, how's your pumpkin?
That's kind of a personal question. Some of them have gone to that great pumpkin heaven, never to be seen or heard from again.
Yes.
The zucchinis have flourished. Some of the pumpkins are looking well, not many, but some. And I hope that answers your question.
Well, let's see here. My zucchini and my squash are like gangbusters. I do finally have some eggplant coming on, which I've never grown eggplant before. That's rather interesting.
Really?
And I've got several decent-sized pumpkins.
Okay. Decent meaning the size of a soccer ball?
Slightly larger than a soccer ball.
Oh, my. You're doing better than we are.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'll probably see you at the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo. Hope we see everybody out there this weekend. God bless. The way things were, the way things ought to be. Zeb at the Ranch. See you next Monday at 8:06. Have a good one.